The Indians, 96 wins and home field. Normally that would be an advantage. This year, it may not be. Enter the wild card Yankees. Despite A-Rod's MVP-like numbers, New York was left for dead before the All-Star break. A mistake many teams paid for, including the Indians. In 6 games this season, the Tribe couldn't top New York. Of course, the Bronx Bombers didn't have to face CC Sabathia. Tonight, Cleveland looks to start the second season with a first win, while the Yankees look to take advantage on the Indians' home field. Game 1, Yankees-Indians, next.
It's a beautiful baseball night in Cleveland, and this American League Division Series on TBS is presented by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Can you tell the fans in Cleveland are ready? So are we. It's ALDS Game 1. The wild card Yankees and the AL Central champions from Cleveland, the Indians, meet tonight at Jacobs Field. Good evening, everybody, along with Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn and World Series champion manager Bob Brenly. Chip Caray welcoming you to our matchup with the Indians and the Yankees. And guys, quite frankly, let's hope this series is better than what we saw in regular season play head-to-head, because the Bronx Bombers were magnificent. They swept the head-to-head season series, winning 6 games in a row against the Indians. They outpitched them, they out-homered them. They frankly, well, just outplayed them in the 6-game series. A-Rod had 6 home runs head-to-head in those 6 games for the New York Yankees. But Tony, contrasting styles as these teams match up. The Indians have a dominant pitching staff, that 1-2 punch of Sabathia and Carmona, facing off with this juggernaut Yankee offense. The oldest adage in baseball, good pitching gets out good hitting. Will that happen in this series?
I think they have a chance to do that, but the key for Sabathia and Carmona and Westbrook is going to be location. They need to keep the ball down. They're not going to stop this Yankee offense. They're just hoping that they can slow them down enough to give themselves a chance to win.
And having a chance against this Yankee offense, Bobby, is a very, very tough thing to think about. The Yankees nearly scored 1,000 runs this year, but an interesting challenge for them tonight against the left-hander, CC Sabathia.
Yeah, Sabathia has held left-handed hitters to a .203 average this season. Joe Torre has 5 left-handed hitters in his lineup. Now, Doug Mitkevich at first base is in there for his defense, but the other guys have swung the bat much better in the second half of the season. Joe said, I'm going to play with the guys who got us here.
Well, they've got an awesome offense. The Indians, an awesome pitching staff. A pair of 19-game winners hooking up tonight. Chien-Ming Wang for the Yankees, CC Sabathia for the Tribe. Game 1 from Jacobs Field coming up next here on TBS.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is presented by Budweiser. Reach for a Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. And brought to you in part by Charles Schwab. Great service, great price, why not both? Talk to Chuck, Charles Schwab. By Zantac. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac. And by Avis. We try harder.
Oh, we've been waiting a long time for this series to get started. They've waited a long time in Cleveland for a playoff matchup with the Yankees, and a beautiful night for it. 72 degrees at first pitch tonight, a warm, humid night. Winds out of the east at 8 miles per hour. And yes, they would love to beat George Steinbrenner and the New York Yankees, who come in with a 94-68 record in regular season play. As Bob mentioned, a lot of left-handed bats for Joe Torre tonight. Here's how they line up, with Johnny Damon leading off for the Yankees in left field. He'll be followed by shortstop Derek Jeter. Bobby Abreu bats third and right, with MVP to be Alex Rodriguez. You know of his postseason struggles. He's the cleanup man tonight. Jorge Posada's the catcher, then Hideki Matsui DHing, Robinson Cano at second base, Melky Cabrera the center fielder, Doug Mitkevich will that ninth and play first base against big left-hander CC Sabathia for the Cleveland Indians. 19-7 was Sabathia this year, a 3.21 ERA, good for 5th in the American League. 241 innings, guys. And the other question is, he's a totally different pitcher now from the time he last saw the Yankees, which was back in 2004. Who has the advantage?
I think Sabathia does, at least the first time through this lineup. The Yankees will be testing, seeing what's different about Sabathia here the first time through this lineup. You know, their forte is making a pitcher work, making them throw strikes, and I think this first time through the lineup, No question, Sabathia has the edge.
Well, one thing you can be sure of CC Sabathia, he's going to be around the plate. He's going to throw strikes. The question is, are they going to be quality strikes around the edges, or is he going to catch a lot of the plate?
Bruce Fleming says right down the middle, strike one, and we're underway in Cleveland. Johnny Damon, .270 average, 12 homers, 63 knocked in, just 3 for 14 lifetime against CC Sabathia.
I think another huge change for Sabathia, at least if you listen to his teammates and the coaching staff of the Indians, is the fact he's matured mentally. He's a guy that used to fight himself a lot. He used to fight the umpires a lot. He's a much more mature pitcher out there on the mound at this stage of his career.
Didn't get the corner, a little high. Ball two, 2 balls and a strike. Bruce Fleming calling the balls and strikes. This is his 9th division series, by the way. And the final year for Bruce Fleming as a major league umpire. He's been around a long, long time. And Damon working the count, 3 balls and a strike. Here's the rest of the umpiring crew for this series. Laz Diaz will be at first. Ron Copa, Fielden Culbreth will be along the infield. Down the lines, Jerry Davis in left. Jim Wolf in his 5th year, the right field line umpire here tonight. Driven down the right field line and deep. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul. Jim Wolf. Damon all the way to second. Now Joe Torre out for a chat. Tony Pena going nuts. And our first rhubarb of the series.
Johnny Damon's mind, there's no question that that's a home run. He's still jogging around the bases.
Tony Pena, the first base coach for the Yankees, immediately threw his hands in the air, indicating he felt it was a fair ball. And as has been the custom this season with umpires, they're going to gather together to see if anybody had a better look at it than Jim Wolf, who was the closest umpire to the play.
Well, all week long, guys, we've heard about should baseball adopt replay to take the umpire and the human element out of plays just like this. Was the ball fair? Was the ball foul? Wolf wants some help. And you talk about a crowd-altering play very quickly in the first inning. This one might be it. It's a home run.
I'm sure that's going to bring Eric Wedge out of the other dugout to get an explanation from the umpiring crew.
Sabathia got a 3-1 pitch up. Johnny Davis hit it good right down the line. So 3-1, this ball is up in the zone, and Johnny Damon takes a great swing.
Damon has always been a very deadly middle-in fastball hitter. He'll hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark, but in those good hitters counts, when he can cheat for that fastball a little bit, he can do some damage.
I think this whole lineup for the Yankees, this is where they do the most damage. You get behind in the count, and you throw what I would call a quickie. 3-1, 2-0, 2-1. You know, when you're ahead in the count, this is when they do some damage.
So for those of you who just watched the Rockies beat the Phillies on TBS, welcome to Jacobs Field in Cleveland, where Johnny Damon has just hit a 3-1 pitch right down the right field line for a solo home run, a leadoff home run. And the Yankees, who hit 201 home runs in the regular season, have jumped in front of CC Sabathia 1-0. And now Derek Jeter up for the first time. He jackknifes away from a fastball over the inside corner.
It is extremely important for Sabathia tonight to work ahead. He's going to have to throw strike one most of the night tonight in order to have a chance to have some success, and he's also going to have to keep the ball down.
Jeter rolls it foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. What can you say about Jeter in postseason play that hasn't been said already? More hits than anybody else in the division series, 67 of those. And I was very interested, too, guys, in the use of the pronoun we and talking about what this Yankee team needs to do in this series against Cleveland. Not he as in Alex Rodriguez, but we as in the Yankee team. Two balls, 2 strikes.
And that's a very effective pitch against Derek Jeter. He can hit the ball to all fields. He can inside out a fastball in the inside part of the plate, but I feel you have to keep him honest in there. Keep him from leaning out over the plate. Coming in there again. And he missed his spot badly that time. As you said, pitch up and out over the plate.
How much of this, guys, is an effect of adrenaline for Sabathia?
I'm sure being in the playoffs, being at home, you know, wanting to get off to a quick start, that's not the kind of start that they wanted to have. And so I'm sure he's a little pumped up.
So bases clear for Jeter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yankees on a Johnny Damon homer lead by a run. And Jeter pops that one up to second. Easy play for Asdrubal Cabrera, and he'll take care of Jeter. There's your first out. Again, if you're just joining us, lightning early from Johnny Damon right down the right field line.
Yeah, it came on a 3-1 pitch. Sabathia catches way too much of the plate, belt high, and Johnny Damon runs it right down the right field line. Jim Wolf, the umpire down the right field line, initially called it foul. After conferring out in the middle of the infield, the umpires declared it was a home run.
Stand straight up on that ball. It's up in the zone. He got on top of it nicely, hit it right down the line for a home. And he's wondering, why is that called foul?
Well, he went ahead and made the circuit.
He didn't stop. He kept
knew.
going. Yep.
Here's Bobby Abreu. And he looks at the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. $16 homers, 101 knocked in again for Abreu. He scored 123 runs. And you'd expect him to have a big year hitting in front of Alex Rodriguez. And Abreu did that for New York this year.
Boy, this entire Yankees lineup, but especially Bobby Abreu, is going to make the Indians pitching staff work in this series. He's averaged over 4.3 pitches per plate appearance in his career.
A strike. But Abreu's got him right where he wants him. One of the best 2-strike hitters in the league.
So being ahead in the count right here is not going to phase him very much. He's still going to be willing to hit the ball to any part of the yard.
So after the umpires met, and all you can ask is that they make sure they get it right. Bruce Fleming, home run. The call for Johnny Damon.
And only a mild argument from the Indians. They had probably the best view, a better view than the Yankees dugout did of that ball down the right field line.
1-2 count. So are you guys, I think I know the answer to this. You two guys are very much traditionalist guys. You in favor of replay in baseball?
I think on a ball like that, I think that's where it would really come in handy. But, you know, the bottom line is you want them to get the call right. And I think in this case, they did.
Sabathia thought he had him struck out on a slider. Full count, though.
Yeah, one thing our compadre Joe Simpson said the other day is we're going to get one more look at that last pitch from Sabathia. The right and left field umpires down the line. There you see the pitch. Maybe just a hair off that outside corner. In Joe's eyes and in my eyes, they should be further down the line than they are right now. Get into a position where you can see that foul pole as Abreu ends up drawing the base on balls.
I thought that was an excellent point last night because, you know, the guys on the corner in the infield, the guys who are in the outfield, they're 40 feet behind the umpires.
Here's a look at how the Indians line up defensively. Lofton, Sizemore, and Gutierrez in right. Blake, Peralta, Cabrera, and Garco ring the infield, and Victor Martinez, the battery mate of CC Sabathia, here tonight. So all the attention now turns to Alex Rodriguez. 54 homers, 156 runs batted in, but 4 for his last 41 in the playoffs at the plate. And a quick strike has him behind. A-Rod single-handedly destroyed Cleveland pitching. Now, he didn't face Sabathia, but he did hit 6 home runs against Cleveland this year.
And you know he'd love to get off to a good start. He'd love to get a base hit in his first plate appearance.
Abreu with a solid lead. And A-Rod backs off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Already 20 pitches for Sabathia. Not what he wanted, but that is definitely the game plan for New York.
Yeah. They're going to try to see as many pitches as they can. They're going to make him throw strikes. I don't think they're just going to stand there and let good pitches go by. But they're definitely going to make him throw strikes, try to make him throw a lot of pitches. I think for CC, throwing strike one would be huge because now that gives you options, gives you some different ways to go about getting guys out. A-Rod's postseason numbers, his last 12, is what everybody talks about.
And you can see very similar to the way Sabathia pitched Derek Jeter, trying to jam A-Rod in on his hands, not allow him to extend those arms where he can drive the ball to any part of the ballpark.
And for A-Rod, he doesn't need to hit a home run to get this postseason monkey off his back. He just has to have a couple of good at-bats. Sac fly, a base hit.
I think from his standpoint, that's all he's looking to do, just continue what he did during the regular season.
And Sabathia's really struggling. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
So already the Yankees, Damon hits the home run. Jeter sees 5 pitches and flies out. Abreu gets a walk. And now A-Rod's worked the count to 3-2. And these are the kind of at-bats the Yankees want to have. Because you know at some point that pitch count's going to start to accumulate. And he's going to put the Yankees in a good position.
Will they run with Abreu with 1 out? They will. Fastball inside, ball 4. Back-to-back walks. As we join the 4th member of our broadcast team tonight, let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Chip, you're talking about A-Rod's struggles in the past postseasons. This morning, he spent the day at the health club at the hotel with his special trainer, Dot Romero, and Yankees special assistant, Reggie Jackson. I asked Reggie, I said, what did you tell him? He said, listen, I said, have clear at-bats. I said, what does having a clear at-bat mean? He said, an uncluttered mind. Do not think about the past whatsoever. Think only about your at-bat. As for Romero, yesterday, A-Rod took batting practice 3 different times. He made sure he did a lot of stretching, was loose, and was ready for tonight's game. So, according to the Yankees' special assistant and personal trainer, A-Rod has the right frame of mind for tonight.
And A-Rod already has more walks in this division series than he had all last year. So unusual to see Sabathia walk 2 batters in the first inning of work. He walked only 4 left-handed hitters all season long. And pitch count creeping up there early.
And the next will be number 26 as Jorge Posada, the Yankee catcher's coming up. So many subplots in this series. We haven't seen Victor Martinez yet hit for Cleveland. And with the gigantic season that A-Rod has had and the year that Derek Jeter has had offensively, Bob, is it possible to say that folks overlooked a .338 batting average by Posada?
Well, I think people overlook Jorge Posada a lot with this Yankees ball club. A lot of marquee players, a lot of society column players, Derek Jeter, A-Rod. Posada's just a grinder. This guy has never been on the disabled list. He is one of the most steady-handed, sure-hitting catchers in all of baseball and has been throughout his career.
Again, Sabathia behind in the count to Posada.
I mean, for 8 straight years, he's caught over 137 games in the regular season. Not to mention every game in the postseason.
Yep. You're the New York Yankees. This is exactly how you wanted this game to start out. Put a run on the board, see a lot of pitches, get a couple of guys on.
2 balls, no strikes. Only the 2nd postseason start in what has been a brilliant career by CC Sabathia so far. The 27-year-old left-hander already with 100 wins. But he's down a run and in first inning trouble tonight.
Again, Yankees not being afraid to take a strike. Ahead in the count there, 2-0. Took one to make it 2-1. Feeling like he's still going to get something good to hit.
A rare swinging strike in this first inning.
That's usually the other thing the Yankees do, I think, better than anybody else. They don't chase. They don't chase a whole lot of pitches out of the zone. They're very patient.
Two on, one out, one in for Posada. And Sabathia strikes him out. Big out.
That's a huge strikeout right there. Sabathia going up the ladder.
One of the best clutch hitters in this Yankees lineup all season long. You retire him and get a left-handed hitter in Hideki Matsui at the plate. Sabathia with an opportunity to escape this first inning with only one run on the board if he can find a way to retire another lefty in Joe Torre's starting lineup.
But Matsui, a powerful lefty. He's hit 8 home runs this year against left-handed pitching, but is playing with a sore right knee, a knee that he had to have drained last week. And that's why Matsui's not playing in the field and may not play in the field in this series. He will DH tonight with 25 homers, 103 knocked in for the Yankees. Boy, Sabathia can get out of this allowing 1.
Absolutely.
Might be all right. There's a slider and a wicked pitch, 0-2.
That's a good 0-1 pitch. And again, we talked about it already. If he can throw strike 1, puts him in a position where he can throw that breaking ball, throw that sinker. Try to get these Yankee hitters to want to swing the bat.
Sliced foul, and he'll stay alive. No balls, 2 strikes. Does not have a hit against Sabathia. 0 for 9 is Hideki Matsui. Johnny Damon led off with a 3-1 pitch that went right down the right field line for a solo homer. After a Jeter pop out, 2 straight walks, now a strikeout to Posada. And Matsui rolls to the right side. Cabrera makes the play, and the inning is over. Sabathia gives up a long homer to right. And after a half inning, Yankees 1, Indians coming up. Back in Cleveland for ALDS Game 1 presented by Budweiser. Let's meet the 96 and 66 Indians. Grady Sizemore leads off in center field as Drupal Cabrera bats and plays second base. Travis Hafner, the DH, bats third with Victor Martinez, the catcher, in the cleanup spot. Ryan Garco's at first. Johnny Peralta's the shortstop. Kenny Lofton back in Indians colors. He'll be in left field. Franklin Gutierrez in right, and Casey Blake, the third baseman, will bat ninth against Yankee right-hander Chien-Ming Wang, 19 and 7. And guys, when he's right, you wear out the infield grass behind him.
Man, this is a thick grass here at Jacobs Field.
And how about this start? The spark plug for the Indians aboard on a hit batsman. Wong only hit 8 men in 199 innings all year, and he hits Sizemore with the first pitch of this series.
Well, maybe some nerves from Wong as well, pitching under these circumstances. First pitch of the ball game. Gets a piece of Grady Sizemore down below the knee. He'll head on down to first base. Well, you mentioned the infielders are going to be busy tonight with Wong on the mound. He throws a lot of ground balls. A lot of double play balls. We asked Eric Wedge, might you get runners in motion to try to stay out of those double plays? And he said if he had the right combination of guys, absolutely they would play a little hit and run.
Well, this might be a good combination right here with Asdrubal Cabrera, the young switch-hitting second baseman, up. 283 is average, 3 homers. He knocked in 22 men. Really gave the Indians a spark when he took over full-time for Josh Barfield at second base.
Yeah, it's a huge lift. And Eric Wedge did talk about one of his better hit-and-run guys is Cabrera, and the fact that they're down wouldn't surprise me at all to see them try to make something happen, try to get back into this game, give their guys in the middle of their lineup an opportunity to drive in a run. Sizemore can run. Cabrera's got good bat control.
Sizemore, good lead. Doesn't go. Cabrera spanks it to short. Easy turn for Jeter. A 6-3 double play. They don't run. Cabrera hits a seed, a double play, and 2 are out.
And just like that, that ground ball that we were talking about, Wong's going to throw that turbo sinker up there. And he got the got the ground ball that he's looking for. Cabrera hits this ball pretty good, but it's right at Derek Jeter. And easy for him to just step on the bag, throw it over to first.
You know, Tony, you know, as a hitter, you tell your guys make him get the ball up, but with the movement that Wong has, even if the pitch is up, it's going to be moving, and you don't always make contact the way you'd like to, and invariably you end up hitting the top part of the ball, and even on high pitches, you hit a lot of ground balls.
That's exactly right. And we talked about Jacobs Field. I was down on the field yesterday and today. That grass is cut pretty high. It's up there, and that's, for Wong, exactly what he wants. He wants to get a lot of ground balls, give his infielders a lot of work tonight.
DH Travis Hafner up, and he takes his first strike. As we check out the Yankees defensively here tonight, Damon. The Yankees with Mitkevich right on that right field line. Over at first base, Robinson Cano pulled over as well. Jeter almost behind the second base bag. And you see A-Rod about 35-40 feet off the third base line over at third. Big swing and a miss by Hafner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Hafner's nickname is Pronk, part project, part donkey, lovingly given to him by his teammates. I love the t-shirt he wore under his uniform for most of the season. It had a quote on it: "I may not be smart, but I can lift heavy things."
Well, let's see if he can lift a heavy thing from Chien-Ming Wang here. That sinker's been awfully tough early. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hafner had a huge year last year for the Indians. 42 home runs, missed the last 29 games with a hand injury. And it bothered him earlier this year. He had just 24 homers, 100 knocked in this season for Cleveland. And a former Texas Ranger. Will stay alive. 2-2 your count.
Wong took a lot off that last pitch. Hafner a little bit out in front, kind of cued it off his bat. And that's what Wong's going to do. He's going to throw that turbo sinker up there, a little slider, a little changeup.
Full count.
You see that long, slow windup from Wong out there on the mound. Throughout his career, the opponent's batting average with nobody on base is .249. Once he gets a runner on, has to go to the stretch position and abbreviate that delivery. Opponents are hitting .296.
Well, that one smacked over the Yankees dugout foul. We'll do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. All the talk in the American League about CC Sabathia, Fausto Carmona, and Josh Beckett as Cy Young candidates. Chien-Ming Wang's got 19 wins too. And he's got a 1-0 first inning lead tonight. But he issues his first walk. And here is that Yankee defense with Johnny Damon, Melky Cabrera, and Bobby Abreu from left to right in the outfield. Cabrera with 16 outfield assists this year. Around the horn, it's A-Rod, Derek Jeter, 18 errors at short. Robinson Cano, Doug Mitkevich, 2 errors at first base. And the battery of Jorge Posada, and again the pitcher Chien-Ming Wang. So 1 on, 2 out for Victor Martinez, the Indians catcher. 301, 25 homers, 114 knocked in. If you ask the Indians about who their team MVP is offensively, you're looking at it.
Yeah, Martinez's ability to use the whole field, hitting with power.
Out of play, foul. Joe Torre said something about Martinez in our chat with him before the game tonight. He said Victor Martinez has taken his experiences behind the plate with him into the batter's box. Bob, what does he mean by that?
Well, you know, obviously when you're behind the plate catching your own pitchers, you have an idea of how you're trying to set up opposing hitters and how to use your pitcher's strength against the other team's strength. And if you can translate that into your own experiences as a hitter and try to think along with not only the opposing pitcher, but the opposing catcher. I think that's what he was referring to.
Fastball strike.
Tony, I don't know how much you got to play against Tony Pena in your career, the first base coach for the Yankees, but when he was behind the plate and there was a runner at first base, you were going to get fastballs because Tony Pena wanted to give himself an opportunity to throw out that runner at second base, so you could be pretty sure you were going to get a lot of heaters with a base stealer on at first base.
So you knew that trick too, then?
Oh, yeah.
0-2 count.
Didn't help me any, but I knew it.
I was going to say, it helped Tony a little more than you, right?
Oh, a lot more than me, yeah.
There's Eric Wedge, the young manager of this Indian ball club. A Johnny Damon homer, the only offense to this point. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Victor Martinez. Line drive, right field, base hit. 2 are on with 2 out.
Nice AB there by Victor Martinez. He fouled off a pitch, kind of dialed in, got something that he could handle. See, that sinker's elevated a little bit up in the zone. And you see him get to a good position right there, and boy, that's, you see the reverse V on the back leg. That's a nice swing right there, and lines it in the right field for a base hit.
So here come the Indians. They don't do it with as much power as the Yankees, but this is the way they play. They get their bases on balls, they get their clutch hits, and scratch and claw, and that's what they have to do against New York.
Well, I was a little bit surprised they didn't run Sizemore earlier this inning.
Ryan Garco didn't swing. 1 ball, no strikes to the converted catcher from Stanford.
Well, it's going to take a well-placed base hit to score Hafner from second base. Probably the 2 slowest runners on the Indians roster on base right now.
Yeah. Good arms in right, good arm in center. Damon's a little below average in left.
Snap throw back to second. High throw nailed by Cano. That saved an error by Posada.
Nice play by Cano, but also if you can notice, Melky Cabrera in center field was charging straight in from his position to back up this pickoff attempt at second base. If indeed it does get past Cano, you see Cabrera streaking in the back of your picture right there.
Yep. Joe Torre, you love seeing that. Seeing guys in the game, involved and paying attention to what's going on out there.
Line drive into center field, a hit. Here comes Hafner around third. He's going to try. He's going to score, and we are tied.
This is what the Indians can do. They're going to battle you. Garco got a ball up in his zone, bounced it right up the middle. A little bit surprised Cabrera didn't come up and maybe take a shot at throwing Hafner out at the plate, but again, it's an elevated sinker, and he lines it up the middle. And that's what you want. When you're facing a sinker ball, you want to try to get that ball elevated. See, Cano couldn't knock that ball down. Thought Cabrera might take a shot at throwing Hafner out at the plate there, but didn't. And the Indians are tied at 1.
It's a funny game. They don't run in their first running situation. They ground into a double play. Bobby mentions they've got their 2 slowest runners on base. They get a single up the middle to the man that's thrown out more men from the outfield than anybody else in their lineup. And yet Hafner's able to score and tie the game after a 2-out walk.
Go figure.
Just the way Eric Wedge drew it up.
New life for CC Sabathia.
Yep.
I'm sure Eric Wedge is hoping that he'll go back out there now that his team has traded punches with the Yankees here in the first inning and settle in a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. That maturity that Eric Wedge talked about with CC Sabathia. His team has bounced right back and got him even.
Here's Johnny Peralta, the shortstop. And he looks at the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Quick chat from Ron Guidry, the Yankee pitching coach. Now Peralta up with 21 home runs out of the shortstop slot. it's Wong's turn to wilt a bit in game one pressure.
He's already gotten a couple of pitches up already and been hurt. You see his pitch count get to 20. And then a couple of base hits, gets them even.
A high slider. And Peralta takes a strike.
Not very many big league hitters are going to look slider on a 2-0 count, especially against a pitcher who's been struggling with his command. And that wasn't a very good slider, but it did fool Johnny Peralta.
Big cut. That pitch also up and hittable. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Peralta fouled that straight back, and that's again, that's a cookie. Ahead in the count, 2-1. You got a fastball up in the zone. It's a good hack at it, fouls it straight back.
Just missed the play.
That's the best thing that could have happened for the Indians, because now Victor Martinez out there at second base will be on the move with the pitch. Talked about his lack of speed. One more look at that borderline slider just off the outside corner.
Good eye by Peralta. And now the runners move to the full count. Tie game.
Peralta 3-2, I think, was a little bit fooled there. I think that was that slider. He got a little bit out in front of that, and luckily was able to foul it off.
Another payoff pitch. Toward third, but foul. And now the Indians again making Wong work into deep counts in the first inning.
You know, guys, the reality is after this shaky first inning for both starting pitchers, knowing the history of these two guys, this may be all the offense we see all night. It's entirely possible that both guys could settle in and pitch a gem from this point forward.
When you get somebody on the ropes in the first, you got to try to take advantage of it. The Indians have done it here with 2 outs.
Good at bat continues from shortstop Johnny Peralta. Victor Martinez at second. Ryan Garco with an RBI single with 2 outs after the Hafner walk. Ties the game 1-1 here in our first inning at Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Kenny Lofton would love a chance to add to the Indians' first inning run total. He waits next. Another payoff. They're loaded for Lofton. And now the Yankee infield comes in to talk things over with Wong. And now, guys, all of a sudden, the most experienced postseason player on the Indians roster is up in perhaps the biggest situation in the early moments of tonight's game. Kenny Lofton with 84 postseason games. Every other player who's starting in the lineup for Eric Wedge had a grand total of 0 postseason at-bats coming into play tonight.
The right guy at the right time. Lofton, lots of playoff experience. You know, guy who's just looking to slap the ball around, use the whole field. Perfect situation for him to get a sinker up. Try to line it out in the outfield to give the Indians a chance to get the lead.
Listen to this place. Slapped foul. Take Kenny Lofton out of the lineup. And the Yankees a huge edge in postseason experience. Even with him in it, they still have a huge edge. But Lofton's been there with the Indians 95, 96, 8, 9, and 2001. High shot, base hit, center field. Martinez scores. Garco will come around. He will score. Runner in a pickle. And the inning is over. Kenny Lofton with a 2-out hit drives home a pair, and the Indians answer. They score 3, and after 1, they lead the Yankees 3-1. A 38-minute bottom of the first inning gives a man who threw 33 pitches in the first a lead and a rest. Kenny Lofton with a 2-run scoring hit with 2 outs puts the Indians in front. And now Sabathia with the lower third of the Yankees lineup here in the second inning.
Well, Sabathia is going to be trying to settle in and start this inning off the way he finished off the bottom of the first. Or the top of the first.
But he misses high to Robinson Cano, the Yankee second baseman, who drove in 97 runs and hit 19 home runs this year.
You see the overall average of 306 on the season, a 328 hitter against left-handed pitching, which is why Joe Torre was very comfortable leaving Robinson Cano in there. He's one of his everyday guys. Doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't walk a lot, puts a lot of balls in play from gap to the big part of the field.
I think one day he's destined to win a batting championship. Hits the ball to all fields, got some power, can run a little bit.
And now Sabathia doing exactly what he doesn't want to do. His team's just giving him a lead. Now he's gone 3-0 with the leadoff man in the second. He's been behind a lot already. 2 walks in the game for Sabathia. And a 4-pitch walk puts Cano aboard. The Yankees scored their run on a homer down the right field line by Johnny Damon. Jim Wolf didn't see it. Eric Wedge argued. He asked Bruce Fleming for an explanation. Here's what the home plate umpire said to Wedge.
What happened, Wedgie? He didn't see it good, and Diaz and I both got it completely fair. There was no doubt about it.
Didn't hit the foul pole.
No, it didn't hit the pole. It was inside the pole.
Who needs instant replay when you've got the eagle eyes of Bruce Fleming behind the plate?
No doubt about it.
They got it right.
More games umpired than anybody. Bruce Fleming working the plate tonight as Melky Cabrera in for New York takes a quick strike. Sabathia 1.4 walks per 9 innings this year. He's walked 3 men already in this game. And now Cabrera down 2 strikes. So again I ask, second postseason start, the Yankees, that offense, is it nerves pitching before a home crowd at Jacobs Field for Sabathia?
I think so. I don't think there's any doubt he'll show some nerves in that first inning, but you know, he only gave up 1 run when it looked like it could be 2 or 3. You know, he's gotten off to a slow start here with walking Cano on 4 pitches, but you know, he's going to settle in and find his rhythm. I know his team's hoping that he can throw strikes here.
Ball and 2 strikes popped up. That's playable for Garco in foul ground. 1 out. Now another one of those lefty bats for New York comes up. That's Doug Mientkiewicz hitting .277, 5 homers, and 24 runs batted in. And it's fair to say, guys, that Mientkiewicz had an adventurous start to today's proceedings in Cleveland.
Yeah, apparently had a little trouble getting off the team bus. A cameraman from a local New York station happened to be in the way. He has a pin in his right surgically repaired ankle, and apparently there was some question after he fell running into the cameraman whether he'd be able to play tonight. But here he is in the 9th spot in Joe Torre's lineup.
A strike from Sabathia.
And I mentioned earlier the reason Doug Mientkiewicz is in there is because he is a superior defensive player at first base, and with Wong on the mound, you figure to get a lot of grounders to the infield, you want to have your best defense behind the Yankee right-hander.
Mientkiewicz just 2 errors this year. There's Jason Giambi. He's on their roster, of course, and is eligible to play later on tonight. This fastball off the plate. A ball and a strike. Tonight's leadoff line technologies brought to you by Travelers Insurance.
See that 9 feet in the middle of that line. If Robinson Cano could get to the end of the brown and a step into the green, then he's got a huge lead.
Two balls and a strike. And there's your Travelers Rick Squirward stat. The Indians have caught 44 men. Victor Martinez much improved in catching and throwing behind the plate. And Posada, as you know, state of the art back there too. Will the Yankees run and try to stay out of a double play? Mientkiewicz is hitting to just 3 of them all year. They won't. Popped up to short. Johnny Peralta at the cut of the outfield grass. 2 out.
I'll tell you, to illustrate how shocking this has been to watch Sabathia struggle in the first couple of innings, he only walked 3 batters in a game twice all season, and he's walked 3 already here in the first 2 innings. And getting back to that line at first base, Tony, now you could steal bases in your career, but for me, that should all be red. I mean, that 9 feet, I didn't see 9 feet. Forget that. That's for the guys who can steal bases.
Cano's over there with 2 outs. Back to the top, Johnny Damon, and they pitch him away. Remember the 3-1 pitch Damon got. Fastball up inner half, and he yanked it right down the line, 325 feet away.
Sabathia is doing a better job now of working down in the zone, keeping that ball down. Done a better job of throwing strike 1.
Wicked breaking ball.
Getting into this game. The whole team's got a lead.
And maybe more importantly, momentum at this point early on. 2 strikes. And Damon sees another pitch. 1-2 your count. This will be pitch number 50 should Sabathia make it here in the 2nd inning. A 33 pitch first. Runner goes. Pitch low. Martinez's throw right on the money and in time. Perfect throw to retire Cano, and the Yankees are done, trailing 3-1 in the 2nd.
Welcome back to Cleveland, where catcher Victor Martinez has just gunned down Robinson Cano trying to steal second base. A familiar sight for Indian fans this year. Martinez threw out 30% of would-be base stealers this year as opposed to just 13% last year. You know, we always hear about pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training early. Well, that's what Martinez did with bench coach Joel Skinner. They worked on changing his motion, changing his base, stronger foundation. They found that he was throwing the ball and it was drifting away from the bag at second base. He worked on it even in spring training when the team played on the road. He stayed back and practiced more, paying off right here in the postseason. Chip.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Franklin Gutierrez leads it off in the 2nd inning. We'll see if Chien-Ming Wang now can settle in. Oftentimes with sinker ballers, that first inning is the troublesome one. Once they get out of that first frame, the sink starts to reappear. Let's see if he can get into a groove tonight. Towering pop-up, left side. And Alex Rodriguez, first chance. And there's 1 man out.
You bring up a good point about sinker ball pitchers. Sometimes they're a little strong when the ball game starts, a little extra adrenaline. They overthrow that pitch and don't get the same kind of movement. I think with Wong, however, it's more a case of just location. He's getting so many of those sinkers up around the belt, and the Indians hitters can get a real good look at it.
You're absolutely right, Bob. That last pitch up in the zone. Hitters see that sinker up in the zone, and boy, you just want to go ahead and take a swing at it. And you're right, he's gotten some pitches up.
And now Casey Blake stands in, takes a strike. Blake was originally supposed to play first base for this Cleveland club this year, but he moved back over to third base and has had himself a super year. 18 homers, 78 driven in. Long quickly ahead of him. No balls, 2 strikes. Blake's been around a while. He's been with the Blue Jays, the Twins, the Orioles, and now Cleveland. And again, this is his first taste of the postseason. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Casey Blake. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Wong. Bases clear, top of the order, and Grady Sizemore. Don't forget, coming up next, Game 3 of our exclusive triple header. It's Game 2 of that National League Division Series. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Chicago Cubs. Bobby, talk about controversy. Carlos Zambrano taken out of that game early in Arizona. Carlos Marmol could not keep the game tied, and the Cubs dropped Game 1.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with Lou Piniella's thinking right there. Marmol has been so good all season long for the Cubs. As a manager, that's one of those darned if you do, darned if you don't. If you leave Zambrano in and he gives it up, people are going to say you should have gone to the bullpen like you did all season. He did what he's done all year, and I think that's the most important thing in the postseason. Stay consistent.
And that sets Zambrano up for potential Game 4 in Chicago if the Cubs can get there. The pitch on short rest. As Grady Sizemore now, a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He was hit on the toe with the first pitch of the game from Chien-Ming Wang. And then Asdrubal Cabrera followed, hit into a 6-3 double play to erase Grady Sizemore.
Just to go back on that Arizona-Chicago series, Arizona again, a different guy finding a way to get it done. Again, they've done that all year long. And boy, you got to tip your cap to Bob Melvin keeping those guys together.
Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, I think if Arizona is to have any success against that strong Chicago Cubs team, they needed to win the Brandon Webb starts in the postseason. He's the closest thing they have to a lockdown starter. The rest of the starting rotation a little iffy.
2 balls, 2 strikes. So that game will follow ours tonight from Jacobs Field. Great games all day yesterday. The Colorado Rockies have gone to Philadelphia and absolutely shocked the Phillies, I think, at Citizens Bank Park. Maybe it's not so much how you play, but when you play. In the case of Colorado, they are the hottest team anywhere.
15 out of 16. They're playing with a lot of confidence. A young kid today, Morales throws the ball pretty good.
Hard hit ball. Sizemore has a 2-out single. Fourth Cleveland hit.
We talked about Wong keeping the ball down, and this is a pretty good pitch. This is a sinker that's down in the zone. Grady Sizemore goes and gets it, and he just hooks it in the hole between first and second. See that ball's down and away. You see Posada reaching for that ball away, and he just hooks it in the hole. So Wong made a good pitch right there, and there's not much you can do with it. He just hooked it in the hole and got a base hit.
That's the curse of a sinker ball pitcher. Unfortunately, sometimes those ground balls are going to find holes. You'd like to have them all hit at your defenders, but it doesn't always work that way.
Here's Cabrera, hit the ball hard, but out to Derek Jeter, his first time up. This kid's been a huge spark for the Indians as Sizemore's run. The pitch a strike, the throw a strike, and in time. Both Posada and Martinez have gunned down an opposing base stealer, and we're through 2 in Cleveland. This American League Division Series on TBS, presented by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. An absolutely gorgeous night at Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Our aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's Silent Armor technology. Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn, World Champion Manager Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, Chip Caray with you for Game 1 tonight. Again, CC Sabathia and Chen-Ming Wang uncharacteristically wild after 2. Let's see what Sabathia has in store now. With 51 pitches so far on the night. Johnny Damon was in the box when Robinson Cano was thrown out trying to steal. That ended New York's second.
Sabathia looks a lot calmer. Victor Martinez behind the plate's been kind of patting his hands towards the ground to tell Sabathia, just settle down, take your time. You can see in the strike zone, ball's got a little bit more movement. Ball's down in the zone a little bit better.
He's definitely looking a whole lot more comfortable now the second time through this Yankee lineup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Damon flips the bat out, stays alive here.
Martinez wanted that ball down and away, and Sabathia put it right there. Nice bit of hitting by Damon, fouling it off.
One ball, 2 strikes. Second strikeout for Sabathia, and that had some giddy up. 1 away. The Yankees bats, guys, the big story in this series. Tony, you mentioned you got to find a way to keep them under control. They're going to get theirs.
Yeah.
But first in average, first in runs, first in home runs, and they score 6 runs a game.
Well, the thing about the Yankees is they'll crush mistakes, they'll hit mistakes out of the ballpark, but they'll hit pitchers' pitches for base hits. So as you said, Tony, I think the key is not to try to shut them down completely, just try to minimize the damage.
Derek Jeter popped up his first time, so he's 0 for 1. And Sabathia now, guys, starting to get ahead with strike 1.
Strike 1 really opens the door for you, because now you can throw the breaking ball, you can sink it, you can cut it, throw your slider. In that first inning, made a mistake to Damon. Walked a couple of guys, but was still able to get out of the inning on the run. Nice moving that ball away from Derek Jeter, and looks like he's got his confidence back. He's got his rhythm back.
And let's not forget, despite the 3 walks, he's only given up 1 hit.
Yeah, 1 hit.
That's into the upper deck foul by Derek Jeter. I really thought Jeter set the tone for the Yankees with all the attention that's going to be part of being a New York Yankee in the playoffs, and they're there every single year. When he talked about with some of the reporters in New York after their workout, they were asking, what does Alex Rodriguez have to do in this series? And Jeter stopped the reporter and said, it's we. It's what do we have to do collectively?
I love that.
Just missed inside, did Sabathia. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I know it's going to take an effort from everybody in order for them to get through this series. The focus is on that guy, Alex Rodriguez. But other guys are going to have to contribute. They're going to have to get some good pitching. They have to catch the ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And again, this is a typical Derek Jeter at bat. He's down in the count 0-2, and he's worked the count. He's fouled some pitches off.
Tipped and caught, and Jeter almost sent out. Wow. 3rd strikeout, 2 away.
A better location that time on a 2-strike pitch. We saw Derek Jeter's first at bat when Sabathia tried to come in there. Couldn't get the fastball in. This time on the 2-strike count, he buries that ball inside off the corner and gets the swing and a miss.
You said they were going to try to tie Derek Jeter up, and that's a cutter inside. See, it beats him inside. He couldn't get the barrelhead to it, and you see him lose his balance there, but it's the movement of the pitch that really tied Derek Jeter up.
So bases clear for Abreu and Sabathia. It's almost like, guys, he just needed the first two to warm up.
That's not unusual even during the regular season to see the premier pitchers in the game take a little while to get used to the mound out there, kind of get acclimated to the ball game. That's why that cliche, you better get them early against the good guys, because once they settle in and find that rhythm out there on the mound, they get very tough.
Abreu earned the first of the 3 walks from Sabathia tonight. And a defensive swing has him behind in the count.
No problem. Bobby Abreu had 171 base hits during the regular season. 90 of those came with 2 strikes.
So as I said in the first inning, he's got him right where he wants him. But it's a different Sabathia here in the 3rd. Hello.
Now, just in case you're thinking about leaning out over that plate with 2 strikes, think about this one. Boy, a head-high fastball off the plate inside. Martinez barely got a glove on it all the way to the backstop.
Yep. And then the 2 at-bats, Abreu, who really hadn't stood in there on that breaking ball. And so you can bet Sabathia got him set up for that slider down and away.
First with the fastball. And the count fills up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I would imagine it's tough to go get Abreu over that outside corner, guys. He's right on top of the plate, which probably explains his production with 2 strikes.
And he's got a good set of hands, too. He's not afraid to let that ball get deep and hit it to left field. Here in the back of the batter's box.
Oh, breaking ball dropped. Had him off stride, and Martinez couldn't hang on.
See that breaking ball? He stood in there, but you watch that, see his body go away from home plate there. He just barely is able to get a piece of that and foul it off.
Now, sometimes that front leg has a mind of its own.
That's exactly right. Especially when you're facing a guy like Sabathia, who throws hard and has a good slider. It's hard to keep that front side in.
Missed the corner. So 4 walks, and now that sets things up for A-Rod and the Yankees. Rodriguez representing the tying run here in the 3rd inning. Four walks in this game for Sabathia. 3 of the 4 against left-handed hitters in tonight's game. And now you're asking for A-Rod. He can tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. He walked his first time up. And he jumps at the first pitch, pops it up. Middle of the infield. Peralta at short, and the inning is over. 1 left for New York. They're roaring at the Jakes. CC Sabathia's up 2.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Indians up 3-1, last of the 3rd inning, and as Drupal, Cabrera's coming up. Again, he was batting when Grady Sizemore was thrown out by Jorge Posada. Great pickup by Mark Shapiro, the Cleveland general manager. The Seattle Mariners wanted Eduardo Perez to come over last year, and the Indians happily traded him for the rights to this young shortstop. Cabrera's natural position short. In fact, growing up in Venezuela, his hero was the man that also starred for the Indians and wore number 13. Omar Vizquel.
Yeah, a lot of similarities between the two. Both natural shortstops, both Venezuelan, both wear number 13, and both started out as light-hitting shortstops with the Mariners.
seems a number you usually have to ask for. They don't just hand you that one. You got to go in and ask for that number.
Well, if he has anything close to the career that Omar Vizquel had simply defensively, the Indians already committed highway robbery. Fly ball belted right field deep. Back goes Abreu. Track. Whoa, it's gone.
Balls being elevated, and that ball was elevated. Barrett drove that ball a long way.
Well, Omar Vizquel didn't do this very often. Cabrera flexing his muscles on a middle of the plate sinker up over the heart of the plate. Wow.
He hit that ball so hard he almost spun completely around. 4-1 Indians in front. There's Hafner, and he takes a strike.
Well, the tough decision now for Joe Torre is, does he think his starting pitcher at some point here is going to settle in and get that sinker down in the zone? Wong hasn't shown any signs that he can consistently keep that pitch down and get the ground balls he's looking for.
And that's the real challenge for the Yankees, not only in this game, guys, but frankly this entire series. Again, the advantage that the Indians are perceived to have is in their starting rotation. With Sabathia and Carmona and Bird and then Jake Westbrook, the Yankees are going to go with Wong, Andy Pettitte in game 2, and Roger Clemens, who hasn't pitched in a regular season game since mid-September. Clemens worked out in Tampa, said he's fit to go. And no word yet as to who, if the Yankees make it to game 4, will pitch in that ball game either.
You got to give the Indian hitters a lot of credit because they've stood in there and they've forced Wong to get the ball up in the zone, and they've done a good job. Watkins 2-out hit, home run there by Cabrera.
Robinson Cano at second makes short work of Travis Hafner. Let's check in again with Craig Sager.
Well, Chip, I'm with Cleveland's favorite son, LeBron James. That is, until he showed up tonight wearing a Yankees hat. Did you lose a bet, or what's this all about?
Nah, I've always been a Yankee fan. I'm a big Derek Jeter fan, man, and I'm here to represent for the Yankees, but right now it's not looking too good.
All right, you're here to represent the Yankees, but what about all these fans that root for you, cheer for you? Also, this team on here in April, they came back from a, quote, home game in Milwaukee. Sabathia, Sizemore, they all came to see you, and they root for you in the playoffs.
Well, as individuals, I want every Indian to succeed, you know, and all these fans I respect, and I love these fans for coming out and supporting us, you know, but team-wise, you know, I want the Yankees to win, but I do want those guys as individuals to play well.
Okay, you rooted for Michael Jordan and the Bulls in basketball. You root for the Cowboys in football, the Yankees in baseball. Are you a front runner?
No, because the Yankees, we ain't been doing so well, and I still been on their back, and you know the Cowboys that haven't been doing so well either. But now we back on top. It looks good.
All right, Sabathia told me, I've been in the dugouts, to give this to you since you're wearing a Yankee hat. It's your crying towel. He says after he picks up this win, face the Yankees in game 1.
Well, you know, me and Sabathia are good friends, and I hope he pitches well. So right now he's doing a great job. You know, we see how the game goes.
Thanks a lot for being with us. Enjoy the series.
All right, I will.
Back to you, Chip.
Great job, Craig. Thank you very much, and thanks to LeBron James. How about that, man?
It's gutsy. Yeah, to the park in a Yankee hat.
Well, I'll tell you what's gutsy. LeBron James is a big guy, and Craig dropped a front runner on him right there in front of everybody. If they'd have been standing up, I think Craig might have been a little more respectful, but since they were sitting down, they were at eye level there. Yeah, are you a front runner? Oh, it's beautiful.
2 balls and a strike to Victor Martinez, who singled and scored his first time. Smacks that one to center. And Melky Cabrera gives some ground, makes the play, and after the homer now, Wong's retired the next 2. And Ryan Garco's up. First hit of the day for Cleveland. Drove home the Indians' first run to tie the game at 1. Bob, you made an interesting point a moment ago about Joe Torre, how he manages this game, and frankly, how the American League game works. You managed with the Diamondbacks in the National League. The managerial style in this league far different in how you work your starting pitching.
No question about it, Chip. If you think your starting pitcher, based on the history and what you've seen through the regular season, is going to settle in, you ride him.
A little flare drops in front of Bobby Abreu.
And Garco's 2 out of 2.
And given the kind of season that Wong had this year for the Yankees, I think Joe Torre has every confidence that he will settle in at some point here, and he will find that sinker down low in the zone.
But really the game plan for New York, get Wong through 7 if you can, then bring on Jabba Chamberlain if possible, Mariano Rivera, Vizcaíno against the lefties. The Yankees do not have a lefty in their bullpen, by the way, in this series. But right now, Wong down 4-1 with a man aboard, 2 outs in this 3rd inning. And Johnny Peralta's up and looks inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
I think that stat that was underneath there, 38 wins in the last 2 years, is a big reason why Joe Torre's he's going to stick with him. He's going to let him try to work himself out of this.
And with this Yankee offense, you're never really out of the game anyway. And the question for Joe Torre might not be necessarily how long Wong stays in the game, but how long Sabathia stays in the game with his pitch count as high as it is after 3. In the air to right, long run Abreu, but he's going to get there. And that will retire the side. But as Dribble Cabrera shining bright on the brightest stage of all, a solo homer for 1. Cleveland in front, heading to the 4th.
MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American revolution, and by AIG for insurance, investments, retirement. AIG, the strength to be there.
Game 1 of our American League Division Series in Cleveland. Brought to you by Budweiser, Chip Caray, Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn, Craig Sager, CC Sabathia with a 4-1 lead. Goes to work against Jorge Posada. And look at that leather pop as he delivers a quick strike. Posada thought it was high and away. As you see him argue, he struck out swinging his first time up. He flies that ball to right. Good running catch, Gutierrez. 1 man down. Different ball game for CC Sabathia. It looked bleak after 1 hitter, but since Eric Wedge says he's settled in nicely.
Yeah, CC's throwing the ball a lot better now. I think he's settled in a little bit, and you expect everybody to come up here pretty amped up, and you just have to work yourself into the ball game and then just start playing.
Eric, first of all, are you surprised that Wong has left so many pitches up in the zone? And second of all, are you impressed the way your hitters have attacked those pitches up in the zone?
I think both teams have done a good job making the other pitcher work, and I think our guys have done a good job of when they do get a good pitch, doing something with it and take advantage of opportunities and trying to lay off that sinker out of the zone. So both sides are kind of working off of each other right now. Let's see where it goes from here.
Not much postseason experience, Eric, but your kids look awfully comfortable after 3.
Yeah, you know what? I think they're excited to be out here, and it's all about playing the game, and looking forward to finishing this off.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Okay.
If you can't get excited about a game like this, you don't have a pulse, man.
It sounds so simplistic, but it's absolutely true. It's all about playing the game. These guys have all succeeded at a high level at some point this year. You just hope they do it under the bright lights.
4th strikeout for Sabathia. 2 quick outs here in the 4th inning. I asked Kenny Lofton that very thing. We talked about Kenny's the grizzled old veteran on this club. I said, did you talk to the youngsters on your team about what to expect? He said, I didn't tell them anything. They don't have any idea what's about to hit them. And the point you made just a second ago, Bob, just go play the game. That's what they've done all year. And here they are, leading the Yankees in Game 1 at home.
They don't want to do too many things different, that's for sure. In the Central Division, the last 2 teams to play here in the playoffs. And people are really looking forward to getting out here and getting to work.
Strike at the knees. I'm amazed at Sabathia. He's a totally different pitcher from that first inning.
He's kind of got his rhythm now. And as we've talked about, the key for him was going to be throwing strike 1 and keeping the ball down. And since the first inning, he's done a much better job of doing both of those things.
Robinson Cano walked him, was thrown out trying to steal. That was in the 2nd. So he looks for his first hit for the Yankees tonight. fact, the Yankees have just one hit. That was the Damon homer down the right field line that led off the game.
Again, on the other side, the Yankees haven't thrown away their game plan either. They're still seeing pitches, still making him work.
That's the thing, you know, Sabathia's pitch count was up there in the first 2 innings, and yeah, I'm sure the Indians would like to think somewhere along the line he'll pick up a 6 or a 7 or an 8 pitch inning, but that will not happen against the Yankees. They will never allow the pitcher to get off the hook that easily in an inning.
His season high is 119 pitches. And Sabathia is as big and as strong as they come. Number 79 coming up. And this, if he ends the inning with his pitch, would far and away be the easiest, if there is such a thing against New York in tonight's game. Line to right. Gutierrez giving ground. That ball is going to bounce over the yellow line. It's a home run. Robinson Cano has made it a 2-run game. A laser beam to right.
He's got a great stroke. He stayed back on that breaking ball nicely, and Gutierrez knew he had no chance to catch that ball. Was hoping he was going to clear it off the wall. It got out of the ballpark.
I didn't know if that ball was high enough to get over the fence in right field. A rocket line drive, and as you mentioned, Gutierrez, I thought, was playing it properly. He backed off the wall, was going to play the carom. There was no carom.
He didn't take any time getting out of there either. I mean, that's a line drive home run to right field.
So 2 Yankee hits, 2 Yankee home runs. It's a 4-2 Cleveland game. And Melky Cabrera is up. So Cano, 97 RBIs at the second base position, hits his first postseason homer. And that quiets this crowd momentarily, but they'll roar here in a moment as Cabrera pops to another Cabrera. How about that? A solo home run. Robinson Cano cuts the Indians' lead in half. It's 4-2. It's time to check out the bulletin board presented by The Office on TBS. Our starting pitchers for tomorrow's game 2. Andy Pettitte for the Yankees, 15-9 in the regular season, and hard-throwing right-hander Fausto Carmona, another 19-game winner, going for Cleveland. Yankees are down just 2 now as Kenny Lofton starts things off in the 4th inning. He had a big 2-out, 2-run scoring hit back in inning number 1.
Last time up, slipped up there with bases loaded. Had a fastball, banged it up the middle.
And that one skips up there.
Just looks like Long's having trouble finding that release point. Well, that one held on to a bit too long. Bounced it up there at the plate. You see Jorge Posada trying to get him back on track.
Lofton lays down a bunt, but it's foul. And he'll bat it back to the plate with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lofton with 52 games this year for Cleveland, 283 average, 15 runs batted in. Not playing center field for them now, but playing left. That's been a difficult adjustment for him at times. But he's really given him a spark, batting down in the order from the left side. As Long misses way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's like having another leadoff hitter in the middle, you know, towards the back end of your lineup.
And that's something Eric Wedge was very honest about. He really had to shuffle and play with his lineup almost until the middle of August, until they had Lofton, until Cabrera came through. When Gutierrez came in and played right field for them. Times Lofton led off, moving Grady Sizemore down in the lineup. That didn't work out as well as the Indians would have liked. When they put Sizemore first, Cabrera second, and Lofton down in the 7th spot, all of a sudden the Indians started rolling. They finished 31-13 over the last 44 games. Lofton pops it up. Robinson Cano in shallow right center makes the catch. Let's check in with Yankees pitching coach Ron Guidry. Asked him about the struggles early of Chien-Ming Wang.
Well, just tell him just to go out and, you know, pick up the target and extend. The first inning, I don't think that he was extending as much out in the front of him as he normally is, and you just got to constantly remind him that's how you're going to finish off your pitches, and he's doing that a little bit better the last couple of innings, so hopefully he'll settle down.
Hey, Ron, when your pitcher struggles out there on the mound, do you ever, as a pitching coach, remind him, hey, take a look at our offense here. Keep us in the ball game. We'll find a way to get back in it?
Well, that's what you tell him after you finish telling him what you have to do about pitching. And you just tell them, if you can keep this game close, you know, we have the offense that can come back and score some runs, but your job is to make pitches, keep this team close, and let your offense do the job for you.
Ron, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
All right. Franklin Gutierrez, the hitter, takes a little low.
Ron Guidry, known as Louisiana Lightning back in his playing days, put together one of the greatest seasons ever for a pitcher back in 1978. Went 25-3 with an ERA of 174. Unanimous Cy Young winner in the American League.
For a guy not from Louisiana, you said that very well.
I have some friends in Louisiana.
If you said it wrong, you wouldn't have him anymore. Way upstairs, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Tony, Ron Guidry talked about extend.
Yeah.
As a pitcher, what does that mean? And when he's not extending, can a hitter sense that?
Yeah, a hitter can sense that because it's almost like he's short-arming the ball. He's not getting that full extension when he lets that ball go. And it looks like he's, like I said, having a little bit of trouble finding that release point. It's good right there. Down and through the baseball. And some of the other pitches he's thrown that single tonight where he's cut it off, kind of short-arming the ball, kind of held on to it just a little bit too long and bounced that ball in the dirt. And it just looks like he's having a little bit of trouble finding that consistent release point of letting that ball go downhill.
A 1-out walk. And Casey Blake is coming up for the second time. He struck out swinging his first time up. That's 3 walks for Chien-Ming Wang. And again, perhaps another opportunity for Eric Wedge if he wants to try to get this run back to play hit and run, straight steal. Gutierrez, a very good athlete for this Cleveland club. He stands at first.
The other thing that's going to keep you honest is the way Jorge Posada came out of the chute and made a throw earlier in the game.
Yeah, both these catchers in the ball game have made their name as offensive catchers, but both coming up big behind the plate in the ball game already tonight, each catching an attempted base stealer.
Moderate lead at first, as you see.
You know, Sizemore, when he got thrown out, he kind of got his right foot almost to the edge of the brown on our 9-foot line here. And you see Gutierrez creeping out there. If he can get his foot out of the white in that 9 and into the brown, it would be a pretty substantial lead.
Outfield straight away and deep as Blake pops it out of play, foul.
Tony, I don't know how you feel about it, but watching Major League Baseball over the last number of years, I don't think guys work hard enough to get a maximum lead over there at first base. Whether you're stealing a base or not, the bigger lead you can get, the quicker you're going to get to second base, maybe break up a double play, go first to third on a base hit. You don't see guys really working hard to get that maximum lead.
I totally agree with that.
Hard hit ball, A-Rod at third. Throws low to second. Good scoop by Cano. And they force Gutierrez for out number 2. Runner at first, 2 outs. Back to the top of the order in Grady Sizemore. But first, log on to TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner and watch exclusive online live coverage of postseason action.
Check out this play of A-Rod here at third. He does a nice job of getting to this ball. Blake kind of hit it towards the end, but you see him backhand, plant his foot, and then Robinson Cano standing firm, picking that ball on the short hop, not worrying about Gutierrez coming down, bearing down on him. He stood in there, picked that ball out of the dirt, and they got the force out at second base.
Yeah, A-Rod threw one of the best sinkers we've seen in the ball game.
Maybe the only one that sunk. But Joe Torre talked about the year for A-Rod last year, and the term he used was uncomfortable. He had a very uncomfortable year defensively. Opening day in New York, he and Jorge Posada had their signals crossed on a pop-up in foul ground. A-Rod dropped the ball. Torre said it was Posada's ball, but the rest of the Yankees team were kind of giggling about that play, and it really lightened the load for A-Rod. He said, look, if I can laugh at myself and relax, everything will fall into place. It certainly has offensively for him. And he looked awfully good making that play.
Did. I think things have fallen into place for him this year. What a year he's had.
Gee, do you think he'll win the MVP?
I think he's going to get some votes.
Yeah.
There's no question. But,
if he doesn't win the MVP in the American League, there ought to be an investigation.
I agree.
Those are video game numbers that he put up this season.
And only 13 errors at third base after 24 the year before. So he has indeed done it all. In fact, I think it's safe to say that offensively, the Yankees aren't in the playoffs if A-Rod doesn't have the kind of year he had. After that very slow start. But their pitching got in order around the 1st of June. The Big Four made most of their starts. And not surprisingly, the Yankees started rolling. But they're down 4-2 here in the 4th. Sizemore, 1 ball, 2 strikes. This guy at the plate for Cleveland might be the most anonymous superstar in waiting in Major League Baseball.
yeah.
Cleveland knows all about it.
The managers around the American League know all about him, too. Leadoff hitter with some power. He didn't hit for the average this year as he normally does, but drove in 78 runs, 24 homers. Solid defender out in center field. 33 stolen bases, and so he's a complete player. And he's only going to get better.
Another astute pickup by the Indians. They got him from Montreal in a trade for Bartolo Colon. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And back to first.
We were talking about that line, and see, he got back to first easily there. And that should be his sign. Okay, you know, with 2 outs here, I need to get a little bit bigger lead. If a ball goes in the gap, you're going to have a chance to score.
Again, outfield straight away for Sizemore. Blake a short lead. And it's line foul. The point you're making about the measurement of the lead, let's talk about the lack of stolen bases by and large in the game of baseball nowadays. Is that a product of the style of play in this league with the DH? And frankly, the style of play in the National League as well, with the smaller ballparks and the emphasis on the home run rather than the steal?
I think absolutely. No manager wants to run himself out of an inning when he may have a couple of hitters coming up that have the possibility of hitting the ball in the seats. And as you mentioned, with a lot of the smaller ballparks nowadays, just about everybody's a home run hitter in the lineup.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Straighten it up with a fastball, and Sizemore knew it. Jim-Ming Wong out of the 4th inning. 4-2, Cleveland the lead. You know that guy that does the killer John Madden impersonation on NFL Sunday? His name is Frank Caliendo, and he has a new show that will literally change the face of late night. See the all-new comedy Frank TV coming November 20th to TBS. We are approaching the halfway point in ALDS Game 1 presented by Budweiser in Cleveland. 4-2 is your score. Bob, Tony, Chip along with Craig Sager. Is this what you expected, fellas?
Not at all. I thought it was going to be a pitching-dominated game in the first one. I thought the hitters were going to have a little case of the nerves, but certainly that hasn't been the case through the early going.
We had a couple of long balls already. Not exactly what I thought we would see, but CC has settled down after a tough first inning. And Indians got an early lead, 4-2.
And the first managerial move of the night, Shelly Duncan's in for Doug Mientkiewicz, batting in that number 9 spot.
Now you have to believe this is related to the accident before the ball game. Mientkiewicz and that right ankle tripping over a cameraman before the ball game. They spent a lot of time in the training room working on him, but apparently not able to complete the ball game today.
And with all the left-handed bats and switch hit bats that the Yankees have in this game, a chance for Joe Torre to get another right-handed bat in there against CC Sabathia here tonight. So he gives up some defense for some offense in the form of Duncan, who, as you saw, a very productive year for the Yankees in limited playing time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases clear in the Yankees' 5th. Duncan, of course, comes from a great baseball family. His dad, Dave Duncan, the longtime pitching coach with Tony La Russa, who's now with the St. Louis Cardinals. And his brother Chris plays for St. Louis too. And Sabathia just missed with a slider.
Duncan 303 against left-handers with 3 home runs.
The first player with 3 home runs in his first 3 days in the majors since Dave Kingman did it with the Giants back in 1971. And the big man takes a high fastball. 4 count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. 6'5", 215 pounds is Shelley Duncan. Took him a while to get to the big leagues. He's 27. And lives in Tucson. Went to college at Arizona. Hit ball just foul past third.
Again, a typical Yankee at bat. He works the count to 3-2, fouls off some pitches.
Well, that's the other thing Joe Torre said, and the point was more aimed toward his bullpen. He's got a lot of young guys in his bullpen, but he said, we're going to use them. Those kids are going to play. Same applies here to Duncan. Off the bench in the 5th. A line drive to right. Gutierrez will play that on second high. Duncan will hold it first, so a leadoff single. Joe Torre pushes the right button, and again the tying run to the plate in a 4-2 game in the 5th.
That's a big league at bat right there, where he fouled some pitches off, worked the count. 3-2, took a pretty tough pitch, fastball. That's away, and he goes right with it, and you see he's in a good position, backs that ball up nicely, drives it down the right field line, and that's exactly what you want to do with that pitch. It's not a ball you want to pull. He goes with it. Gutierrez did a nice job of cutting that ball off and getting it back in, keeping Duncan to a single, but the Yankees got a leadoff runner on.
And Damon's up. He homered in the first. And tough man double up. Just 4 of them this year for Johnny Damon. And 533 regular season at bats.
This is where, for me, Sabathia just has to stay away from Johnny Damon. Try to get him to pull the ball away from him. Get an easy double play ball. If you challenge him from the middle of the plate in, that's when Damon can be dangerous, as he showed in the first at bat of the ball game. Real quick from the middle of the plate in. He has a huge hole on the right side of the infield to work with.
Pitch number 91 of the night. This is outside, and all of a sudden it's Sabathia now who's falling behind the Yankee hitters. And they're starting to pace in that Cleveland dugout.
They're starting to look at that pitch count. And even though they've got a 2-run lead here, pitches start to add up.
They also know the big boys are open. 3 balls and a strike. You guys talked earlier about how Sabathia really has matured, how he's not allowed his emotions to get the best of him on the mound. How about this sequence? 3 balls and a strike to Damon with Jeter and Abreu to follow.
Yeah, that patience has been tested on the last couple of pitches.
And 2 are on with nobody out. So here come the Yankees, 3rd time through the order. And Eric Wedge asking Bruce Fleming, was the pitch in? And apparently so. That's 5 walks for Sabathia, who walked 5 in 6 innings in his last and only postseason start.
Big situation here in the game. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. The captain's up. You can handle the bat. You could sacrifice here. You can play hit and run here. Just depends on you know what you're thinking. You're in the middle of the game in the 5th inning, so you've got some time. You want to take a shot, but it's not going to surprise me at all if Derek Jeter squares down and gets a bunt down right here and gets these runners in the scoring position.
21 double plays hit into by Jeter. That's high on the team. And so I agree with you. I think to keep out of that double play, give yourself up, move them up 90 feet.
He's also realizing that Sabathia has had a little trouble throwing strikes here too. So he's not just going to give away the at-bat.
So Carl Willis makes his first trip to the mound with Sabathia in some 5th inning trouble here. 2 on, nobody out. 4-2 Cleveland clinging to the lead with Derek Jeter up. And a 1-ball count to the Yankee shortstop. And fans, you can enter People Magazine's Sexiest Fan Alive contest. And you, guy or girl, could be in People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive issue and win a VIP trip for 2 to a 2008 Major League Baseball World Series game. To enter, go to peoplesexiestfan.com. And yes, we have a couple of candidates in our booth. Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn. Log on and vote now.
It wouldn't be fair to the rest of the country if we logged on, you know. Got to give him a chance.
See, Chip's the GQ winner.
No.
Yeah, he's got the look.
No.
You got that right.
No.
We're baseball guys. Chip. Got the hair and the shirt and the tie.
Would you like to be a publicist? Yeah. Jeter's had good luck against Sabathia.
Which is probably why you won't see him put down a sack bunt. Those kind of numbers.
He wasn't butting. Pops it foul after a meeting. Looking for a fastball. Got it. But missed it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, you had that kind of success. 12 for 24. You know he's going to take a shot. But again, corners are up. Garco at first and Blake at third. They're playing as if Derek Jeter might square up and put a bunt down.
Well, this is where the American League is so different than the National League. Outside, 2 balls and strike. In the National League, this is an automatic bunt situation for the second place hitter with Abreu up, who's walked twice, and then the cleanup man.
Well, that's what I would be thinking. Abreu who knocked in 101 runs and A-Rod's knocked in 156 runs. Again, he's got a good idea up there, so you kind of have to let him kind of decide what he wants to do.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, Sabathia would love a strikeout. He'd love a ground ball out. He'd like a soft fly out. He'll take any out he can get. He doesn't have one yet in this 5th inning. Crowd trying to spur him on with a 4-2 lead.
He struck Jeter out last time with a good cutter, a late breaking cutter right up underneath his hands. The last time.
Shelley Duncan pinch hit, started with a single to right. Damon walked. And Jeter looks at a pitch low. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And again, the Yankee offensive patience here. Forces a pitch of decision again to Jeter.
Again, even though the Yankees are down 4-2 here, this is going to be pitch number 99 for Sabathia. So the Yankees have done their job offensively. They've made him work. They've made him throw a whole lot of pitches, and now they're in a situation where maybe they can get even.
Fly ball, right field. Gutierrez is there. Duncan broke toward third, unable to tag, and Gutierrez with a very strong arm. So no bunt, no advance, 1 out.
Well, let's take a look at how CC Sabathia went after Derek Jeter, a very dangerous postseason hitter. And as you watch this sequence, he challenged him with fastballs. First pitch was up and away with a heater, comes right back up and in with a fastball, gets the foul. Another heater way off the plate away. A foul ball and another fastball off the plate away. The one breaking ball of the sequence, he tried to go to the back door, missed with it, comes right back with a fastball up and out over the plate. The lazy fly ball to right field. Obviously, Sabathia not afraid to challenge Jeter with that fastball.
So Abreu up, 2 on, 1 out now. Sabathia's walked him twice. He too is a double play candidate. Abreu's hitting to 11. double plays in regular season play. We'll see if the decision not to bunt costs the Yankees a run in the middle innings. It won't. Inside the bag, fair left field line. Duncan around third will score. Abreu with a double makes it a one-run game, and here come the Yankees. It's 4-3.
Well, you talk about beautiful hitting right there. Like Bobby Abreu kind of getting on him a little bit about bailing a little bit, but Lee stays right on this ball, hits it right inside the bag at third base. How beautiful is that? Casey Blake playing off the line. And take a look at how he gets to this baseball. Look how deep he hits that ball in his stance. And he just carves that ball inside the bag at third base. That's a beautiful piece of hitting right there by Abreu.
And the Indians will take the bat out of the hands of Alex Rodriguez here. They'll intentionally walk him. So it'll be 6 walks for Sabathia. It'll load the bases here in the 5th inning for Jorge Posada. Indians by a run. It's 4-3. It's not surprising that Abreu picks up his first hit in this series on a double. More doubles than anybody else in baseball except for Todd Helton of the Rockies the last 10 years. And that one has the Yankees now on the edge of reclaiming this Game 1 lead.
Abreu's just been a great hitter for a long time. And again, you kind of get lost in the shuffle in this Yankee lineup with A-Rod and Jeter. And this year was really considered kind of a down year average-wise for Abreu, but stood in there nicely and hit that ball down the third base line for a double. And the Yankees really are a base hit, an extra base hit away from taking the lead in this game.
First time activity begins in the Cleveland bullpen now as Posada up for the 3rd time. Bases loaded for the Yankees, down a run in the 5th. Alex Rodriguez season was the sizzle. Jorge Posada's .338 year was the stake. 20 homers and 90 knocked in. And as Bob mentioned earlier, one of the most clutch players on this Yankee club. Ball too high. So Sabathia can't get the inside strike, can't get the high strike from Bruce Fleming either now. And Posada in the driver's seat 2-0.
He can be aggressive here. He can make Sabathia throw him a strike. Of course, Sabathia looking for a ground ball here.
No. And you see Victor Martinez telling Sabathia, get that ball down if you can.
Maybe starting to see some signs physically that Sabathia is tiring out there. He just can't get that fastball back down into the strike zone. He's consistently missing up and away.
They green light him 3-0, and it's on a play. 3 balls and a strike.
I think Joe Torre doesn't know these guys, doesn't have a sense for what his players are all about. He green lights Jorge Posada there 3-0. Sabathia been all over the zone here this at bat, but he green lights him, gets a good pitch, fouls it straight back.
And that's not just a whim. That's based on what he's seen throughout Jorge Posada's career. He trusts that he'll swing at a good pitch on the 3-0 count or take ball 4.
Throw a high fastball right by him.
See Sabathia still getting it up there at 95 miles an hour.
Shelly Duncan, Doug Mientkiewicz talking over the first run scored in this Yankee 5th. Bases loaded, 3-2 count. After a 33 pitch first, Sabathia about to make his 31st pitch in the 5th. And the relentless patience of the Yankees in play here. He got it. What a pitch. Two outs.
Take another look at the pitch sequence. This time in a jam, CC Sabathia goes to his strength. All fastballs this time to Posada. Misses away, misses up. Just looked like he wasn't finishing his pitches. What we were talking about earlier with Wong, just unable to finish the pitch, get it down into the zone. He finally makes a little bit of an adjustment, blows 2 fastballs by Posada, and then finishes him off, ultimately with a 95-mile-an-hour heater up and out over the plate.
So there's the second big out in the 5th, and Matsui's the batter. Bases loaded, Yankees still down a run. And a good stop, Martinez. Guys, is the fact that Sabathia's pitches on the 2 batting sequences we showed, that everything is above the letters or above the belt, again an indication of fatigue? Or is that the game plan? Go up front.
Well, that depends on what Carl Willis, the pitching coach, wants him to do. It may be an attack against the Yankees offensively, or it may be signs of him tiring physical.
He just said, forget it, here's my best pitch. If you're going to beat me, here's my best pitch, 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
Miss low and away. Ball 2 to Matsui.
Because really, since early in the game, he really hadn't been able to get his breaking ball over the way he'd like to. So he's just challenging people with his fastball.
Damon at third, Abreu at second, A-Rod at first, and a 2-0 count to Hideki Matsui. Popped him up. Blake and Peralta. Inning over. Yankees load him up and get but 1.
But you're right.
Hey.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American Revolution.
Our aerial coverage of ALDS Game 1 from Cleveland provided you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's silent armor technology. So the Indians withstand the Yankees' threat in the 5th inning. Lead at 4-3 now with the Tribe's 2, 3, and 4 spots coming up against Chien-Ming Wang. 1 defensive change. Shelly Duncan stays in the game. He'll play first for Doug Mientkiewicz. Cabrera has hit into a double play and hit a long solo home run to right. That led off Cleveland's 3rd inning. Three balls, no strikes.
Again, Yankees put another run on the board. And if you're Wong, you want to come out, have a shutout inning, get your team back up swinging the bats.
Taking all the way, a strike. Leadoff man aboard for the Indians. Tonight's pitcher comparison brought to you by Avis Rent-A-Car. We try harder. Control, guys, has been an issue for both Chien-Ming Wang and CC Sabathia.
No question about it. CC 5 innings, 4 hits, but 6 walks. On the side, Wang too.
Yeah, there's no question both starting pitchers have struggled with their command tonight, and I also think that the rather small strike zone of Bruce Fleming behind the dish has played a factor as well. Granted, he's been very fair both ways, but he's always been notorious for calling that small strike zone. Tonight, no exception.
Again, a chance for the Indians to put a man in motion if they choose with Hafner up. He's walked, scored, and he is grounded out. A ball outside to him.
Really, for both guys tonight, you just got to settle in and make a good pitch. You're not getting that ball that's off the outside corner. You're not getting that call. And Nelson's worrying about it. Try to make a good pitch in the zone. And in Warren's case, try to get a ground ball, get a double play.
Fastball right down the middle. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moderate lead by Cabrera at first, but he will indeed draw a throw. Indians didn't run all that much this year, just 72 stolen bases. That's good for 12th in the American League in regular season play. And as Tony mentioned earlier, the fact that Jorge Posada threw out Grady Sizemore in the 2nd inning has just about shut down the running game.
Well, he let him know. Cabrera tried to work himself out there on his lead. Skinner giving the signs.
Hafner's only grounded into 15 double plays on the season. We talked about his lack of speed earlier. I think that's basically because he's a fly ball hitter. He doesn't hit a lot of ground balls.
Broken bat, fly ball right center field. Cabrera, good jump and an easy catch. And there's out number 1. Again, we check in with our colleague Craig Sager. Hi, Craig.
Well, that fly out kind of quieted the drum out here, John Adams. I'm high above center field with Cleveland's #1 fan, the drummer for 34 years. What about the Tribe? You got to lead, but do you need more runs to win this one?
I believe we will need more runs. You know, these are the top teams in baseball, and you got to be ahead all the time. You got to be aware all the time. There's a lot of talent on that field right there.
You're as far away from home plate as you possibly can be right now, but you had the honor of throwing out the ceremonial first pitch on behalf of all fans. What did that mean to you?
That was very touching for me to represent the fans of Cleveland and to throw that out. I think that was about the greatest honor I've ever had.
Fly ball deep right field. Victor Martinez. Oh, he's beating that drum and left now.
Crushes this pitch. Another sinker, middle of the plate, a little out there where Martinez could extend. Easily rides it out of here to right center field.
As we talked about all night long, whenever a ball is elevated, I mean, look, that's extension right there. He's in a good position. Takes a nice, easy swing, and when that ball is elevated like that, it's usually going to go a long way.
And how about the man that they call the leader of this Cleveland club, Victor Martinez, coming through just after the Yankees score 1, load the bases, cannot take the lead. He now gives either CC Sabathia or whomever comes in out of that bullpen a little bit of breathing room against this Yankee offense.
Well, and that is so important. I mean, you talk about the Yankee mystique or the Yankee aura. You know how I feel about that, but the truth of the matter is this Yankees ball club finds ways to come back. The more runs you can put between yourself and that Yankees offense, the better your chances of winning a ball game.
So Chien-Ming Wang, 4 walks, a couple of home runs in this game, and the Indians now up by a 6-3 score with Garco up, and Garco's had a perfect night. He's 2 for 2 with an RBI single, and he scored 1 of 3 Cleveland runs in the first.
game just changes so quickly. It looked like the Yankees were in position to tie it and possibly go ahead.
Hard hit ball to Cano at second. And 2 are out.
Cleveland comes right back with a 2-run bomb and extends the lead from 1 to 3, just like that.
So, Craig, no more banging the drum slowly, I would presume.
No, and John, 34 years, how many drums have you gone through?
This is the same drum. The same drum I started with in 1973.
I guess you had some lean years in there where you didn't beat it as
I
much.
changed drum heads because they break, and my mallets go on me, but, you know, it's worth the cost.
First of all, where do you work, and who's your accommodating boss that lets you get off for every game for 34 years?
Well, I don't get off for the day games, so those I miss, but thank God there aren't too many of those. So most of them are at night. I work at AT&T. I work on computer systems.
All right, well, you're doing a good job here. Good luck today, and I hope you're not superstitious. I don't have to stay out here.
Can't leave. We're chaining you to the post right there. After our interview and that home run, you're here to stay.
Hey, Craig, is he going to let you bang the drum or not?
Hey.
Does he allow guest drummers? Broken bat, flare to right. Abreu's not getting that. Johnny Peralta with a bloop double. And all of a sudden, everything going Cleveland's way.
That pitch, the barrel went one way and the ball went another way, and Peralta, as soon as it left the bat, he was thinking too. Came flying around first base and got himself into scoring position.
Well, this is like a good head fake in basketball. The barrel of the bat, as you said, Tony, went to the shortstop side of the infield. The ball floated right down the right field line and drops in front for a double.
He just got beat inside. Dropped it in a perfect position. Abreu cuts it off, but not going to throw Peralta out at second baseman, so another opportunity for Cleveland.
And the Yankees pen goes to work with Ross Ohlendorf beginning to loosen. Lofton slashes that ball foul for a strike. And Posada not happy either with the pitch or the location.
This is one situation where the contact hitter really can be a thorn in the side here, because, you know, Kenny's not looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's looking to find a hole out there. And this ball, depending on where Wong throws it, could go anywhere. And so with 2 outs here, you're going to have to make a quality pitch here against a guy like Lofton, who's got some back control and can put the ball in play anywhere.
And the outfield can shorten up because he doesn't have much power, and that makes good arms better. But that's a slapper into left center field. Here comes Peralta. Here comes the throw. It's cut off. Good call, Tony. 7-3 Cleveland. Another huge 2-out hit from Lofton, who's driven home 3 with 2 outs tonight. And that might tell the tale for Chien-Ming Wang tonight.
He did a nice job. He got a ball, again, up, and he goes right up the middle with it. Doesn't try to pull it. He's just looking to put the ball in play. That ball is up. And he just kind of fights it off up the middle. Peralta able to score on the base hit and give the Indians another run.
Jacobs Field rocking like it did in the mid-90s. Only 5 ground ball outs from Chien-Ming Wang tonight. The sinker ball wasn't, and the Indians weren't missing. They chase him after 4 2/3 innings. He surrenders 7 runs, and the Yankees in Game 1 trouble as young right-hander Ross Ohlendorf comes striding in out of that New York bullpen. Then and now, presented by AIG. Live longer, retire stronger, never outlive your money with AIG. Let's take a look at what happened to Greg Nettles, who played 22 seasons, half of those with the New York Yankees. He won 2 World Series with the Bombers and was the MVP of the ALCS in 1981. Greg Nettles lives in Knoxville, Tennessee, makes personal appearances for local corporations, and spends a great deal of time babysitting his grandchildren.
Sounds like a good life.
No question about it.
Tony, he was a former teammate of yours in San Diego, and that was back in the day when I played a little bit of third base, and Nettles used to always get on me, told me to keep a clean yard.
Third time the Indians and Yankees have met in postseason play. And now it's Ross Ohlendorf on Florida, converted to a starter a couple of months ago. Joel Torre telling us that he's got a lot of kids in the pen. He will not be afraid to use them. And Ohlendorf first out of the quiver tonight.
Only 6 appearances during the regular season for the Yankees.
And he looks outside. Ohlendorf was an Arizona Diamondback. Came over with Alberto Gonzalez and Steven Jackson and Luis Vizcaíno for Randy Johnson, who went back to the desert. Three and 3 was Ohlendorf with a 5.0 ERA at AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Lofton a moderate lead. Great jump. A slider strike and no chance to get Kenny Lofton.
Oh, boy. He had a great jump. See him get a great jump right there. Nothing Jorge Posada could do.
Now, Ohlendorfer got rid of the ball quickly, but I think that was a perfect example of a veteran picking a rookie's pocket right there.
And that's a huge run out there with 2 outs. Gutierrez does a little chasing. And the count to him now 1 ball, 2 strikes. A 3 RBI night for Kenny Lofton. A stolen base for Lofton tonight. The 3 RBI total is a high for his career in postseason play. Now remember, he was long the leadoff man for the Indians. And 5 other teams here batting 7th for Eric Wedge. In a run producing slot, has done that tonight.
Done it both times with 2 outs.
Posada can't find it, but no chance for Lofton to advance.
We talk about Ohlendorfer's 7th appearance of the season for the Yankees, and obviously Jorge Posada hasn't seen a lot of his right-hander on the mound either. Really struggling on those last couple pitches.
Balls, 2 strikes.
It's a nice block there by Posada. Breaking ball by Ohlendorf, and Posada slid over nicely, made a nice block. Beat Kenny Lofton at second base.
Two on, 2 out, and 3 in. LeBron has the hat turned around. He hasn't taken it off yet, but he's got it turned around.
Ron Guidry on his way out to the mound right here. I'm sure this is just a meeting Try to get his young pitcher to breathe. Take a deep breath. You can see he's got really good stuff. That late, sharp breaking ball, he just can't get it in the strike zone right now. Give him a little bit of a breather, try to regroup and get back into the strike zone.
These games, it does move a million miles an hour. I mean, we're at the 2.5-hour mark in this ball game, but for those guys,
this is quick for them. Game's moving right along. And again, it's kind of a contrast of styles here. The Yankees going to be patient, make Sabathia throw a lot of pitches. The Indians on the other side did the exact same thing to one. They made him get the ball up, and they were patient, and they got some pitches to hit, and they've done something with it. And now they've added to the lead and have a chance to add some more. It's like Bob was talking about. You have an opportunity to put more runs on the board, you try to cash it in.
Line drive, right field corner. Trouble if it's fair. It's fair and into the corner. Lofton scores. Gutierrez around third. He's going to score. It's 9-3. Cleveland rocks.
Yeah, nice hitting there. Going with the ball, not trying to pull it. And that's what you're seeing a lot of in this series. Christian Blake goes the other way with that ball, and it had trouble written all over, especially when it stayed in the ballpark. See him back that ball up, and that's these kind of games, that's what you want to do. You get that ball elevated. Pitchers are going out over the plate, and guys are going right with it. And that's beautiful hitting.
The Indians are 4 for 4 tonight with runners in scoring position. They have 5 two-out RBIs in this game. And again, going back to the top of this inning, if Derek Jeter bunts and if the Yankees tie the game, would momentum have switched to the Yankee side? Do not know. It's definitely in the Cleveland dugout now. A strike inside the corner to Grady Sizemore, the 9th man to hit in the inning.
Yeah, you never know what would have possibly transpired had Jeter put down a successful sac bunt. It's easy for the naysayers to say, well, the Yankees would have had a big inning. They would have scored a few more runs. The momentum definitely would have been in their dugout, but that's been Joe Torre's style. I mean, he doesn't like to bunt with those guys, those run producers in the middle of his lineup. And we told you about the numbers Jeter had against Sabathia, 12 for 20.
And with Abreu and A-Rod following him there with nobody out. That man right there knows his club better than we do.
But 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position certainly has told the tale tonight. Sabathia effectively wild with 6 walks in this game. The Indians have broken it open with 5 in the 5th. Back our way. Sizemore stays alive.
I remember years ago doing a postseason game with Joe Torre, and I asked him the difference between the National League and the American League, and he said in the National League, because of that pitcher spot, there's a sense of urgency to make something happen before you get to the 9-hole. And by that he meant maybe you play a little hit and run with your 6 and 7 hitters, maybe even play hit and run with your 8 hitter. But there's always a sense of urgency to do something before you get to the pitcher spot in the lineup. You don't have that in the American League.
Fly ball hit high in the air, shallow right center. Cabrera, good jump, calls everybody off. What a 5th for the Tribe. They battle around. They score 5. They lead by 6. Game 1. Jacobs Field. We are back at Jacobs Field. The Indians with 5 in the 5th have a 9-3 lead as we take our first look at young left-hander Rafael Perez. 24 years young, 6'3", 185 pounds, out of the Indians' Dominican Academy, and he has electric stuff. A high strike.
Saw the fastball there that sits in the low 90s. He has a devastating slider. Eric Wedge told us that Perez is a guy that he could use to pitch against righties and lefties because of that slider.
62 strikeouts in 60 2/3 innings and only 15 walks. For Rafael Perez, they have a lefty Rafi and a righty Rafi. Perez the lefty, Rafael Betancourt the other late inning man for the Indians to get the ball to closer Joe Borowski.
And both those Rafaels have been very good at the end of this season. Perez gave up only 2 runs in his last 16 2/3 innings. Betancourt 2 runs in his last 24 2/3 innings.
Cano swings late. Close the book on CC Sabathia tonight. 5 innings, just 4 hits, 3 runs, a couple of homers, 5 strikeouts. That's good news. Bad news was he walked 6 in the game, and amazingly, of those 6, none of them scored.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. Is you walk that many and none of them crossed the plate. And so you have to say he did his job. He went 5 innings. And, he's given his team. He put his team in a position to win now. Indians go to the bullpen, and Perez starts this relief run of this run of relief pitchers, and you got a 6-run lead. Let's see if they can get it. Who's going to help get you home?
2-2 count to Cano. Homered last time up with 2 outs.
Really no surprise that Sabathia was able to go 5 innings over the course of the regular season. The Indian starters pitched 5 innings or more 88% of the time. Boy, I'll tell you what, when your starters get you deep into the ball game consistently, it allows a manager to use his bullpen in an orderly fashion. You can play the matchups when you want to. You can lead to your setup men, ultimately to your closer. Well, when your starters are getting blown up in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd inning, that's when you really start to have problems.
Well, they logged more innings as a staff among the starters than anybody else in the American League did, the Indians. With Sabathia winning 19 games, Fausto Carmona, tomorrow night's Game 2 starter, also 19 wins. And Paul Byrd, also a double-digit winner for the Cleveland Club. So Cano and Perez, that one spanked up the middle. Peralta 2 steps to his left, gets his man. 1 man down. 9-3 Tribe in front. DHL presents our MLB Delivery Man. Tonight we focus on the Indians bullpen. The biggest weakness of their club last year was late in the ball game. Lots of blown saves, especially after the Indians traded Bob Wickman to Atlanta. The original plan was for Keith Folk to be their closer, but he retired in spring training. They then signed that man, Joe Borowski, who'd had such a great year with the Marlins last year. And Borowski's come into Cleveland and done a magnificent job. And fans, you can go to MLB.com to cast your vote for the 2007 DHL Delivery Man of the Year award. So 1 out for Melky Cabrera, who's popped to first. He's popped to second. 0 for 2 is he. Not surprising, too, that Eric Wedge, with all these left-handed and switch-hitting bats in the Yankee lineup, goes to another left-hander first out of his bullpen. Cabrera batting right-handed again. Then you've got first baseman Shelley Duncan, who checked in and scored the 3rd Yankee run back an inning ago.
Well, Eric Wedge knows how this Yankee team can score runs, too. And in fact, you got a 6-run lead doesn't mean it's over. You need to get outs. Bringing Perez in here, take advantage of some of the left-hand hitters he's going to see later on. But right now, he's trying to get outs.
2 balls and a strike. Grounded foul. I don't know how in this league with these offenses you ever feel like you have enough outs.
Well, I'm sure it's frustrating for pitching coaches and managers anytime you play a team like the Yankees or the way the Indians are swinging a bat tonight. No lead is ever safe. You don't know if you've got enough arms down in that bullpen to finish a ball game.
Again, spanked foul at 3rd.
The formula for the Yankees just never changes. They make you work.
They have 11 outs left in game 1. Here with A-Rod and Jeter and Abreu and Matsui and Jason Giambi, by the way, on the bench still. Get a couple of guys on and one swing at the bat, as we saw with Cleveland's offense. You're right back in it. Struck him out with a high fastball. Melky Cabrera 0 for 3 tonight.
That's a good combination for a left-handed pitcher against a right-handed hitter. Elevated fastballs and back foot sliders. You get enough of those sliders in on your knuckles and you start to open up a little early. That makes that tailing high fastball a very effective pitch.
Again, 6'3", 185, all kneecaps and elbows.
I think that's one thing about the art of pitching that doesn't get the credit it deserves: deception. You know as well as anybody, Tony, a guy might have very average stuff, but if you can't pick up the ball out of his hand quickly enough, it's going to be a struggle to make solid contact.
That's absolutely right. And Perez looks like he's coming at you with knees and elbows, and that arm action gets on you really quick.
One ball, no strikes. Shelley Duncan. Perez signed by the Indians as a non-drafted free agent. Well, Mark Shapiro has stepped in following John Hart in the GM chair here in Cleveland. Has continued the organizational philosophy, not delving into big ticket free agency, drafting well, developing well, and making astute trades. That's how you're able to compete with a Boston or a New York or a Chicago or an LA in the American League. They've done it well for a long, long time.
Pick your spots with your veterans that go out and get a Kenny Lofton, who's been here before.
1-2. And Duncan stays alive.
Just not good swings right now by the Yankees. Perez changing planes. Working that slider and cut fastball up in the zone. Occasionally change the angle on it and go down and in to right-hand hitters. Cleveland crowd having a whole lot of fun right now. Their team's up 6 runs. Really enjoying this evening tonight.
He checked it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, as we said, they've waited a long time for a playoff game back in Cleveland. Last time they were in the playoffs, 2001. And of course, American League fans know all about the long World Championship dry spell endured by the Indians. The Perez pitch is low, ball 3. Last time the Indians were in the World Series and won it was 1948. When they beat the Boston Braves 4 games to 2. In fact, they played the second ever playoff game to get to the World Series. Remember, you went straight to the World Series if you finished in first place. They had to play an extra day before they played the Braves. They beat the Red Sox as Duncan's down on strikes. Perez dazzling in the 6th as we send it to our colleague Ernie Johnson for a TBS game break. EJ?
All right, thank you, Chip. It's a 6-run game right now as we take this TBS game break. Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken, and the big hurt Frank Thomas. But when you think about this game was totally different back in the top of the 5th. It was a 1-run game and a huge moment in this game, a huge at-bat. CC Sabathia and Jorge Posada, Cal.
Well, absolutely. The turning point in the game from my vantage point right now is that at-bat that Posada had against CC in the 5th inning. Bases loaded here. Here's the first pitch, all fastballs, by the way. Second pitch is a high 2-0. Third pitch 3-0. So he's facing 3-0. And what does he do? Swings on 3-0. And Joe Torre says, hey, that's a pretty good swing. And I love that about Joe. He trusts his players, and he allows them to do the things that they're capable of doing. So CC comes back, 3-1 right here. Fastball, swing and a miss. Fastball, foul ball. And right here, another fastball, boom, strikes him out. You know, a lot of hop on that high fastball, almost like an invisible pitch, but a great turning point in this ball game.
So it remained a 1-run game. Go to the bottom of the 5th. The Indians put 5 across and kind of blow this thing open, at least for now. And one of the highlights there, Hurt, is 40-year-old Kenny Lofton, who has 3 RBIs tonight and this stolen base.
The ageless one. I play with Kenny. He's high energy. He works very hard. And he's just still getting it done. He's playing great defense. He's getting big hits, and he's still stealing bases.
And look at the jump he had on Ross Ohlendorf there. It was unbelievable.
And I'm happy to see him back in Cleveland where he belongs.
And he is 40 years old. And I bring that up simply because on May 27th, this guy's going to be 40 years old also. Just 7 months from now. See, there is life.
There is life.
When the number begins with a 4. And I'm still stunned over what we've seen from LeBron James tonight. Showing up. He's the face of Cleveland sports these days, showing up at the Jake with his Yankee gear on as he talked to Craig Sager and saying he's team-wise pulling for the New York Yankees in this series, which is unforgivable. So I guess you go to New York and you host Saturday Night Live, and then you come back and you're wearing Yankee gear.
Did it mean anything when he turned the Yankee hat around backwards?
It was a rally cap for the Indians, although he wasn't really sure that when it happened. Let's go back to the Jake. And Chip Caray, take it away, guys.
All right, guys. All right, guys, thank you very much. No sign if LeBron's taking that Yankee cap off at this point in time, but the Indians are rolling 9-3. They come up in the bottom of the 6th inning after sending 9 to the plate. Ross Ohlendorf is still out there. He'll face Asdrubal Cabrera, Travis Hafner, Victor Martinez. A coming-out party, if ever there was one, I think, guys, for this young Cleveland team tonight. Nobody thought they could outslug the Yankees in a short series. Game 1, they have given them everything they've got.
I agree. We said at the beginning that it was going to be for the Indians if their starting pitching could slow down the New York Yankees, and they've done a good job of that so far. Sabathia went 5 innings, only gave up 3 runs. Offensively, I don't think any of us thought they were going to bust out and put 9 runs on the board. But they've done it, and they've done it, a lot of them, 5 of them with 2 outs, some 2-out knocks, when they find themselves up 6 runs.
And the big story from the Yankees' perspective, their ace, Chien-Ming Wang, 19 wins this year. A man who, when is right, has one of the most devastating sinker balls in the American League, if not all of baseball, able to record just 5 outs on the ground in Game 1 tonight.
I think that just really illustrates the point what we talk about all the time, that it's a matter of execution. Wong was able to do it throughout the regular season. He was not able to do it tonight. Just couldn't get that sinker down in the zone. It doesn't mean he's going to be ineffective in his next start, should there be one in this series. But for tonight, he was unable to execute his pitches successfully, and the Indians took full advantage of it. That's a big key as well.
That's execution on their end. The offensive guys for the Indians did a great job of taking advantage of that ball being up in the zone.
Cabrera's been in the middle of everything tonight. He's homered, he's walked, he's scored 2 runs. And he nearly gets hit with a slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And again, it just goes to show you in postseason play, especially in a short series, if your pitching isn't pitching well, you're not going to win. Long way to go in this game. But something that has to be mentioned along with entering this series, the struggles of guys like A-Rod for the Yankees. Last 13 postseason games for New York. The Yankees are 3-10 with a 5.04 earned run average.
And a lot of times that's not going to get it done.
So getting back to our he versus we pronoun. If you don't pitch, you don't win, no matter how much a guy hits or doesn't hit.
I know I'll believe that forever, is that you don't get good pitching. I don't care what kind of offense you got. You can't shut the opposition down from scoring. It's going to be hard to win games, especially when you get to this level. You get to the postseason.
Full count to Cabrera. Ground ball right side. Cano handles it in between. And there is out number 1. All right, fellas, here's tonight's Sonic Trivia question. Entering tonight, how many postseason games have Joe Torre and Eric Wedge managed?
I never remember games Joe Torre's managed.
Plus
1.
Plus 1 tonight.
Yeah. Oh, but it's entering tonight, so that's going to make a huge difference in that final number. Run out bases good. Line drive right center field. Hefner. Nobody's getting that ball. And that one's out of here.
I'm going to tell you, from up here, it sounded like he cracked his back. I'll show you what kind of strength he's got. That ball got out of here to right center field.
And I think Andy Pettit's saying, Cleveland, get it out of your system tonight.
We said earlier he can lift heavy things, and he lifts his heavy sinker down and in over the fence in right center field. Another line drive home run in this ball game.
That's another one of those balls that got out of here in a hurry.
So the Indians with 3 home runs tonight. It's a 10-3 game. And Victor Martinez up. He has a 2-run homer tonight. And he spanks one down the left field line. Damon will dig that out in the corner. Victor Martinez a 3-for-4 night.
Beautiful hitting by Martinez right there. He showed you. He's showing you his skills. He homered to right center field. Now he stays back. Carves his ball to left field for a double. And that's what hitting in today's game, that's what you've got to be able to do. You've got to be able to use the whole field. And Victor Martinez doing a nice job tonight of going line to line.
So Ohlendorf, another chat with Ron Guidry, the pitching coach. And don't forget, coming up shortly, we will have Game 2, Cubs Diamondbacks from Chase Field in Phoenix. (10-3), Cleveland in front here. Here's Garco. He's 2 for 3 with a run. An RBI single back in the first. Again, the Yankee bullpen goes to work. That's Jose Veras.
Tell you what, tonight Cleveland has said, forget postseason experience. We're just going out playing like we played all year long.
Is that something that's overrated, postseason experience?
Yeah, when you swing the bats like the Indians are tonight, it is, yeah.
Sorry, stupid question. In most situations.
I still think it's a valuable tool to have. But you know what? After tonight's game, your experience. You played in the postseason.
Garco hit. Last thing the Yankees needs another base runner. So 2 are on with 1 out. And Posada out to calm down Ross Ohlendorf.
You know, guys, there's no question that a young team playing against the New York Yankees in the postseason, it would be easy to come out and be intimidated. I think more than anything else, psychologically, the Indians have made a statement. We can play with the big boys. Yeah. Now, what happens the remainder of this game or the remainder of this series, we'll have to wait and see. But they've made a statement here in Game 1 that they came to play, and if it takes banging the ball all over the ballpark, we're capable of doing that too.
And this was not a night by any stretch where the Indians dominated the Yankees with their starting pitching. They've been able to, as you said, out-hit them, out-slug them tonight, which one would think would bode well for them. Game 2, Game 3, and Game 4 if we get there. The Indians broke the game open with 5 in the 5th. They've added 1 here in the 6th. What a difference in this game for New York. They led after the first batter. Johnny Damon hit a home run right down the right field line. The call was disputed. Bruce Fleming and his crew got it right. Then Sabathia effectively wild through his 5 innings, allowing 3 runs. Ground ball short. Jeter will flip to A-Rod at the third base bag. That's a force play. That retires Victor Martinez. Garco to second. Peralta at first with 2 outs. And the man of the hour tonight. Happy homecoming for Kenny Lofton.
This has been the situation he's delivered all night. Guys in scoring position, 2 outs.
A career-high 3 RBIs in a postseason game. All 3 of those RBIs with 2 out. Line right center field. That's going to roll for a while. Garco scores. Peralta stops at third. It's a double. 4 2-out RBIs for Kenny Lofton. Ross Ohlendorf surrenders 3 runs. It's 11-3 Cleveland. Yeah, they may be the Bronx Bombers, but how about the Cleveland Crushers? 11 runs on 13 hits, and they're not done yet. ALDS Game 1 at Jacobs Field in Cleveland, presented by Budweiser. Jose Veras now out of the Yankee bullpen to try to restore some order. The Tribe have scored in every inning but 2 so far tonight, and they've got 2 more in scoring position here in the 6th inning.
Veras, another youngster on this Yankee pitching staff. This is only the 10th ball game of the season he's pitched in at the major league level. 7 walks and 7 strikeouts in 9 1/3 innings pitched. He doesn't get hit very hard, but occasionally does have trouble finding that zone.
Originally a Tampa Bay Devil Ray. They signed him as a non-drafted free agent in January of 1998. His first taste of the big leagues came last year. He pitched in 12 games for New York. That covered 11 innings. So the Yankees, after Chien-Ming Wang struggles tonight, go with Ross Ohlendorf with a grand total of 6 big league games. And now Veras with 9 big league games. This is 10th in Game 1 of this series.
Right now you're at that stage where you're hoping somebody could stop the bleeding here. We're already down 8 runs. 2 more ducks are on the pond here.
Well, it's past bleeding. It's a hemorrhage. Right now, 11 runs. The 3rd time in the last 11 postseason games the Yankees have allowed double digits to its opponent. And Franklin Gutierrez, the hitter. 2 on, 2 more out. Well, let me ask you, the Yankees are the team that have been in the postseason every year in Joe Torre's tenure. Is this a demoralizing first 6 innings of Game 1?
No, I don't think it's going to be demoralizing for a long time. I mean, it's embarrassing as a professional athlete, as a professional ball player, especially when you're a heavy favorite coming into a series, to get spanked around like this in Game 1. I'm sure they're in a little bit of shock out there right now, but this is where your veteran presence on the ball club makes its presence felt. Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, A-Rod, those guys are going to have to rally the troops in that clubhouse or even in the dugout for the remainder of this ball game, just to continue to grind, continue to do things the right way.
That's exactly right. That's where experience really comes into play. take a shellacking like they're taking right now, it's not going to be hard to turn the page and come back, you know, with the right mindset for tomorrow's game if you don't come back in this.
2 balls and a strike. Franklin Gutierrez has walked twice, scored once. He's also popped out. Popped up. Right side, Duncan should have a play, and he does. 2 more come across in the 6th inning. Travis Hafner unloads. He scored 2 of Cleveland's 11 tonight. Well, if you ever see someone who does impressions and think, wow, that's even better than the real thing. Well, TBS has just that guy. His name is Frank Caliendo. Don't miss the all-new TBS late night comedy, Frank TV, coming November 20th to TBS. With Bob Brenly, with Tony Gwynn, with Craig Sager, Chip Carey from the Jakes. 7th inning now. 11-3 Indians lead. ALDS Game 1 presented by Budweiser. Johnny Damon led things off with a home run down the right field line. The Yankees have 4 hits in this game, 2 of them solo home runs. And now he will face Rafael Perez, who works his 2nd inning in relief of CC Sabathia, who did pitch long enough to qualify for the win. The biggest inning defensively for the Tribe, the 5th. As Cal Ripken mentioned, bases loaded. Jorge Posada strikes out on that high fastball. And then Hideki Matsui, 2 outs, bases loaded, popped out. And the Indians held on to a 1-run lead, then broke it open with a big 5-run 5th themselves.
You know, that's a real good illustration of how getting out of a jam could have been much worse for the Indians in that top half of the 5th. They limited the damage to only 1 run and brought that momentum right into the dugout and proceeded to bang the ball all over the ballpark in the bottom of the 5th.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Did he go? Yes, he did. 3 strikeouts in a row for Perez.
The movement Perez is getting. And check out this pitch. You see Martinez set up outside, and that ball breaking late. Johnny Damon trying to hold his ground. See him get bent over at the waist, trying to hold up on that swing. Couldn't do it.
So Damon tonight, 1 for 3. Here's Derek Jeter, 0 for 3 in the game. Jeter's popped to 2nd, struck out swinging, and flied to right. And he looks at a ball low, 1 ball, no strikes. Game 2 tomorrow. First pitch 5:07 Eastern time. Andy Pettitte will pitch for the Yankees. Fausto Carmona, the 19-game flamethrower, goes for Cleveland. Ground ball off Jeter's toe, and he'll hobble around home plate.
Well, that'll be all right by Christmas. Don't worry about it.
That's that late movement by Perez.
Boy, that left-handed slider biting down and into a right-handed hitter. So often you just catch the top part of the baseball and foul it off that front leg.
Well, one thing he's got going for him, it's 75 degrees tonight.
Yeah.
Just think if it was 40.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night for baseball here in Cleveland. Sun was out all day. Very comfortable here this evening. No wind.
Line to right. Gutierrez, sliding catch, makes the play. They love his speed. They love his athleticism. He showed both.
He's gotten great jumps on everything hit in his direction tonight. Makes a nice sliding catch here. Catches that ball about knee high, goes into his slide. You may remember he cut that ball off in the right field corner earlier in the game. Looked like extra bases. He got over there quickly, hustled it back into the infield. Covers a lot of ground.
And that's great scouting, too, by Cleveland. 2 outs, two strikes. He shaded over a little bit towards the line and got a great jump on that ball. Was able to make the play.
So it's up to Abreu if the Yankees are to keep the 7th inning alive. Abreu's walked twice, doubled once, and knocked in the last Yankee run of the night. A strike at the knees. Outfield shades Abreu toward left center. Blake well off the line at third. That's the way Abreu doubled right inside that bag. See the big alley that Abreu can aim for here. And now he's down 2 strikes, and this crowd has been awesome all night. We stretch. What a job by Perez. Our aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's Silent Armor technology. Well, Cleveland, was it worth the wait? Last of the 7th inning. Cleveland 11-3 over the Yankees in Game 1 tonight. Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn, World Champion manager Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, Chip Carey from Jacobs Field. Phil Hughes on to pitch now for New York as they are unloading the kids. Down big, guys. Great chance for these youngsters to get a taste of postseason experience.
No question about it, Chip. And this may pay dividends later in the series. Getting these guys' feet wet, get them out there on the mound, get the butterflies out of the way. You may need to use them again before this series is over.
Yeah, they have to like what they saw out of Hughes this year. He won 5 games for the Yankees, who really struggled in April and May getting their starting rotation intact. They had numerous hamstring injuries, arm problems. Their big 4 of Clemens, Wang, Pettit, and Mussina in the first 2 months of the season started 25 of the first 51 games for the Yankees. Now again, Roger Clemens didn't sign until May 9th, but still with that big 4 making less than half the Yankee starts, not surprisingly, they went 22-29 the first 2 months. As Casey Blake is down on strikes, 1 man out. We'll talk more about the Yankees pitching evolution over the course of the year, Tony, but first a hit chart for you.
Yeah, Grady Sizemore coming to the plate. And when you take a look at where his base hits go, see a big number out in right field, and to me that kind of explains why, you know, he's hitting 277 this year. Last year a 300 hitter, you know, pulling a whole lot of balls to the right side of the field. And the base hit he got tonight was a fastball on the outer third of the plate, and he hooked it in the hole between second and first. And so, you know, the spray chart tells you, gives you a lot of good information.
Breaking ball strike for Sizemore. Sizemore last year played every game for the Indians. 28 homers, 76 knocked in, 53 doubles. But not bad numbers out of that leadoff spot. No. 78 RBIs, second only to Jimmy Rollins for RBIs in Major League Baseball. Rollins drove an 81 for the Phillies.
He's a run producer. He's a guy that's going to get on, steal your base, score some runs.
Pop fly, shallow left. Jeter goes out. Derek glides to it. And there's your second out. Let's check out again our Sonic Trivia question. Entering tonight, how many postseason games had Joe Torre and Eric Wedge managed coming into tonight? Now, I know Eric Wedge didn't manage any. So the answer, 122, all of them.
Yep.
By Joe Torre.
Kind of figured that.
But from this point on, everybody that's on this Indian roster can no longer say they do not have any postseason experience.
You know, that trivia question is like asking how many combined National League batting titles did Tony Gwynn and Bob Brenly have? You know, that's not fair.
So Eric Wedge, his first postseason game. It couldn't have been scripted any better for Cleveland tonight.
Well, they're doing what they needed to do. They're opening at home, playing in front of a big sellout crowd, enthusiastic crowd. And you want to get off to a good start. They fell behind 1-0, but turned right around and put 3 runs on the board in the bottom of the first. And since then, they've done a great job of getting good at bats, some timely hits.
And really, tonight's game sort of sums up the way the Indians have played all year long. Not many people gave them as much of a chance as, say, the Detroit Tigers in the Central. And with all the adversity this club went through, the horrible weather conditions that forced them to cancel their series with the Mariners, they played home games in 3 different ballparks this year: Milwaukee, Seattle, and back here in Cleveland. They had stretches of 23, 26, 30 some odd days in a row without days off. Not a single guy complained. They just said, look, this is the hand that was dealt us. Let's go play.
Well, I think a lot of the credit to that has to go to Eric Wedge and his staff. You know, making sure that these young guys had their heads screwed on straight, realize what a privilege it is to be playing in the major leagues. And hey, you're going to bump up against adversity from time to time. You're going to run into tough stretches of the schedule. I think maybe the Indians had it to the extreme this year, but the way they were able to handle it, I think, is a reflection of the calming influence of Eric Wedge.
Full count to Asdrubal Cabrera. Phil Hughes pitching for the Yankees. Here in the 7th, 11-3, Cleveland in front. A coming out party for Cabrera tonight. And again, we will see another pitch here. Well, the turning point for the Indians might have come right after the Yankees came to Cleveland and finished off another sweep. They then lost a game to the Tigers, and Eric Wedge said, we can't feel sorry for ourselves. Let's go play. And then they just took off, did these Detroit Tigers. Blew the doors off Detroit. Took care of Minnesota. And entered this series on a 31-13 run behind overwhelming starting pitching.
Well, there's no doubt coming into this game, they felt confident that they could do the things that they had done during the regular season.
That's over the outside corner, and Phil Hughes looked awfully good in the 7th. Maybe Bob's right. This inning might pay some dividends late as we head to the late innings 11-3 trial. We head to the 8th inning, the American League Division Series on TBS, presented by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Young right-hander Jensen Lewis now on to face Alex Rodriguez in an 11-3 Indian game. A-Rod really only one chance to do any damage tonight. That was in inning number 3 with 2 outs, runner at first. He popped out. He took a walk in the first inning with a man aboard and was intentionally walked with 2 on in the 5th inning. So A-Rod has had a very quiet night with the bat. And he's very quickly down 2 strikes to a flamethrower, Jensen Lewis, Bobby and Tony, who got on a great roll in the month of September.
Yeah, he's a flamethrower. We just saw the fastball there at 92, but he also has a really good straight changeup.
Lewis gave up 1 run in 13 September innings, struck out 15 men in that stretch. And a 3rd-round pick out of Vanderbilt University is Jensen Lewis.
Really, all the Cleveland Indian pitchers have been trying to get in on these Yankee hitters.
Got it on A-Rod, popped it up right side. Cabrera, no trouble. A-Rod 0 for 2, 11-3 our score from the Jake as we send it to Ernie Johnson back in Atlanta.
All right, Chip, and folks, if you're tuning in to see the Cubs and Diamondbacks Game 2, here's what we're going to do since the Yankees and Indians are running long. We're going to start the game in Arizona at 10:05 Eastern on our sister network TNT. When this game in Cleveland is over, we'll bring Chicago and Arizona back to TBS. But right now, to watch the Cubs and D-backs, hit the clicker and go to TNT. Everybody follow along? Very good. Back to you, Chip.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. I don't know about you guys, but I wore out the clicker the last 2 weeks of the regular season in both leagues. As Posada jumps on that ball, drives it left. Odd route, Lofton, but no trouble. 2 down.
Noticing a little different approach from the Yankees hitters here late in the game. I think a little bit of frustration setting in on the part of the Yankees offense. They expected to do more in the ball game tonight. And quite honestly, they had some opportunities to do more. Not necessarily swinging the bats, but taking advantage of the base on balls that Sabathia gave up early in the game. And maybe a little over aggressiveness here late in the ball game.
So Banks clear, 2 outs for Matsui.
This looks like he has one of those deliveries that's kind of tough to pick the baseball up. Kind of a short arm.
At Powder River, 0-2.
And this Cleveland crowd on their feet.
This is where people, remember you, as a player. People remember what you do in October. This is a huge moment for us, for me, my team.
That's Cleveland starter CC Sabathia presiding over a coming out party for the Tribe here in Game 1 at Jacobs Field. What a night for the Indians. They have an 11-3 lead as Drupal Cabrera scored a couple of runs. He's a rookie. Travis Hafner a homer, 2 runs scored. Victor Martinez 3 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Ryan Garco 2 hits. Kenny Lofton, the grizzled veteran, with 4 2-out RBIs in the game. And from top to bottom, Tony, the Indians got it done tonight.
Oh yeah, pretty impressive on the offensive end. A bunch of runs scored with 2 outs. Kenny Lofton some big hits. Victor Martinez 2-run homer. I think just the poise in which they've shown tonight.
Another shot, this one to center. But Melky Cabrera is going to make the play. And Hughes has come in and retired 4 consecutive men. This kid's got a good arm. 1 out. Back to our talk at the start of the broadcast tonight about how the Yankees really didn't make much of a regular season series against Cleveland coming in. They shellacked them 6-0. They won the season series, did New York. You would know it by what we've seen tonight.
Well, it just goes to reinforce the old cliche about you throw away the regular season numbers in the postseason. None of that matters anymore. You try to learn from the mistakes maybe that you made against a ball club. Rely on the guys who have had success against that particular team, but the numbers don't mean anything at this point.
And probably the most important lesson for both these clubs, and especially Cleveland, is to remember no matter what you score tonight, it still means only 1.
Yep. Yankees will understand that with all the postseason experience they have. I don't think Cleveland will be super high because they've come in and jumped on them in this game. They realize this Yankee team's very talented and they're going to have to do a lot of things right. I think Bob hit the word that I like to use, which is execution. Cleveland has executed tonight. They've done a good job of knocking in runs tonight.
Roller foul by the catcher, Victor Martinez.
Victor Martinez has an opportunity to do what no player has ever done in the postseason, hit for the cycle. Now, I wouldn't bet the ranch on it. He's got one career triple.
I was saying, who has to fall down?
Yeah.
Well, the best bolt is to center field and hit that corner out there, get a ricochet.
Catch an angle, yeah.
Catch an angle, and that would be his best crack at it.
I think you have a better chance of getting John Adams' drum home with you than the cycle.
See that angle out there in center field. Sometimes that ball will hit on the high side and ricochet towards right field.
He took a shot that way, but it's playable for Johnny Damon. He's got it, 2 out.
It seems like in this long, great history of this game that somewhere along the line somebody would have hit for the cycle in the postseason. That's never happened.
So Ryan Garko up for the 5th time tonight. He scored twice.
I think Victor Martinez would be happy just the fact we were talking about him hitting a triple. Catchers love that.
How many did you have?
I don't know. Not very many. That's a long way around there, man. You kidding me?
Two outs, bases clear. Man, Hal Galima is searching the baseball encyclopedia, I'm sure. I don't think he's at the top of the triples list.
That's what I was afraid of.
However,
I know you have to be careful how you dispense information.
Yeah, no kidding.
You make a mistake, they come back on you.
Put it on a tee for him, didn't I?
You had 7 triples. Not bad.
You know, to steal Mark Grace's quote, I turned a lot of triples into doubles.
Aha. No balls, 2 strikes. And down the right field line foul. Again, for those of you tuning in past the 10 o'clock hour Eastern time for game 2 of that Cubs Diamondbacks series. That game is getting started over on our sister network TNT. As soon as we are finished, that game will switch back here to TBS. So stick with us for another inning or so. And then we'll take you down to Chase Field. Fly ball, right field, well hit. Long run. Garko goes yard.
These Indians are impressive. Garko didn't try to pull that ball. He stayed with it, went right with it to right field. Squared it up nicely. Will Hughes had been impressive.
He doesn't want to smile, but he will when he gets to the dugout.
What great opposite field power there. We've heard that saying about hitting being contagious. Well, there's an outbreak in that third base dugout tonight.
Yes, sir. Look at this. Look where that ball is where he made contact.
You guys were talking about nobody's hit for the cycle. Kaz Matsui of Colorado today. Doubled, tripled, grand slam. No single. Whoa. And the Rockies ambush of the Phillies today. Anything surprise you guys of what we've seen outside of this game in the first round matchups to this point?
I'm surprised. I thought Philly would at least come out with a split. They didn't. You've got to give the Rockies a lot of credit. They played spirited baseball.
Another shot deep right, but it's playable at the edge of the wall. Johnny Peralta flies out. The Indians have hit 4 home runs at home tonight. All Indians all night as we head to inning number 9 in game 1 of our American League Division Series from Jacobs Field, presented by Budweiser. Here's the second of the 2 Rafaels. This one the right-hander, Rafael Betancourt, who along with Rafael Perez, a nasty 1-2 setup combination to get to Joe Borowski.
How do you like that strikeout to walk ratio?
Not too
wow,
shabby.
80-9.
Robinson Cano up in the 9th. And the Yankees down 9 runs are hacking away at the first pitch. They will turn to Andy Pettitte in game 2. Joe Torre talking to us before the game about why he set up the rotation of Pettitte pitching second. Postseason experience, leadership. If the Yankees are down a game, they like their chances of splitting. If they're up a game with Pettitte, they like their chances of 2-0. As it stands now, they'll need Pettitte to earn a split.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we know about Andy Pettitte, if history holds true, he will pitch these Indians hitters inside. That's one thing we haven't seen a lot of from the Yankee staff tonight. They haven't really busted the Indians inside to keep them honest. A lot of pitches out over the plate and up, and give the Indians hitters a lot of credit. They've made the adjustment. They've been willing to drive the ball to the opposite field, but Pettitte will run that cutter right in on your knuckles.
And unlike Chien-Ming Wang, much more postseason experience for Pettitte. He'll make his 35th postseason start here tomorrow night. The Indians as a team have a total of 2. Cano down on strikes. Boy, oh boy, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout out of this Indian bullpen. And offensively, guys, Chicks dig the long ball.
Well, they must be digging the Indians tonight then, because they have touched some way back in this ball game. Tony and I both think Hafner might have broken his bat on his home run. Still got it out of here.
Garco hitting his ball straight away right field. The Indians have been impressive on the offensive end.
Melky Cabrera 0-for-3. Yankees have 4 hits. A team that came in with the highest batting average in baseball. Most runs in baseball. Most home runs in baseball. Have 3 runs and 4 hits in tonight's game.
Well, one guy we haven't given any credit to tonight is Derek Shelton, the hitting coach for the Cleveland Indians. He spent 3 years as the hitting coordinator for the player development system and knows a lot of these young players from their time in the minor leagues.
1 strike to Cabrera. Upstairs. It evens it up.
His game plan has been right on the money for these Indians offensive guys, and they've done a nice job. We all focused in on the Yankees offensive lineup and kind of forgot about Cleveland's offense. And you know what? They showed us tonight that this is the reason why they've won as many games as they did this year, why they were Central Division champions.
Well, one game does not a series make, but certainly a game like this with Mark Shapiro looking on is certainly one I would think that the rest of the baseball world is going to sit up and take notice of in the newspapers tomorrow night.
Yep.
And tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow morning. Six strikeouts so far out of the Indians bullpen. CC Sabathia went 5. Perez went 2. Lewis 1. Betancourt trying to finish it off. Just missed the outside edge. 2-2. Jason Giambi, he's in the on-deck circle. One would think almost certainly with Carmona pitching for Cleveland tomorrow night that Giambi will be in the lineup somewhere for New York. There's Fausto, 19 wins. And a great story about which we'll talk in depth tomorrow. So here it is. Pettitte, Carmona. 5 o'clock Eastern time here on TBS, an hour and a half earlier than tonight's game 1. And if you haven't seen Carmona pitch, folks, if he's on, you're in for a treat. Out of play foul. Betancourt about as deliberate as you can be out of the stretch, even with nobody on base. In fact, a couple of times this year against the Tigers, he took so long that the home plate umpire called balls without him throwing a pitch.
He's got to get the shape right, and everything's got to be perfect when he comes set. And you know what? When you're kind of having the kind of success that he's had this year, hey, who am I to say? Trying to get his feet set up right.
A check swing out of play. It's almost like he's standing on a dozen uncrated eggs. When he tries to set his feet, just wants to place that foot just so, and then
gently
goes to work. Good battle here in the Yankee ninth. Cabrera upset. He thought he missed his pitch.
That was the first time he came in. Tried to come in. Cabrera fouled a straight back.
Just missed. Cabrera had a great year working into the month of September. 18 for 100, however, was he in the final month of the season. He has yet to get a ball out of the infield tonight, but he has worked the count full, 3-2. Fly ball left. On the run, Lofton near the line makes the grab. And how apropos is that? Our Chevrolet player of the game tonight is Kenny Lofton, the veteran for the Indians with the only playoff experience. Showed it at the plate tonight.
Chip, you asked him earlier what he said to the younger players. He said, I didn't tell him anything. He chose to just go out on the field and show them what to do.
Lofton with 4 two-out RBIs tonight. That's a career high. And in recognition of his great play tonight, Chevy donates $1,000 to Major League Baseball's youth baseball charities, Chevy and American Revolution. And now the final hope for New York is Jason Giambi. 12-3 Indians. The Indians pitching, which, as we mentioned earlier, their strength. An unbelievable job tonight. They bent but didn't break with Sabathia. The bullpen has been dazzling. Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Alex Rodriguez, and Kaz Matsui combined tonight 0 for 14 and 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to pin this one all on A-Rod. It was a team collapse tonight. And more than anything else, in my eyes, the inability to take advantage of the walks.
Yep.
That's something the Yankees have always been very good at.
Hard hit ball, shallow right. Shift was on. Cabrera playing in shallow right field. Couldn't handle it. And that's the 5th New York hit in tonight's game. So Giambi aboard with 2 outs. And you're right, 6 walks. None of them scored. That's very un-Yankee-like.
That's opportunities to put runs on the board that they didn't. You know, Posada's at bat when they had the bases loaded and 1 out. And he ended up striking out. And then Matsui popped up. And the score was 4-3. They had some opportunities. You know, Cleveland showed us what they can do offensively. Did a nice job of moving the ball around, cashing in on their opportunities.
Fly ball foul. Johnny Damon started the game with a homer. A 3-1 pitch that Sabathia got up and in. Damon tomahawked it inside the foul pole. Jim Wolf, the right field umpire, called it foul after a conference. Bruce Fleming said he had it all the way. It was fair. It was. And after one batter, the Indians were down a run. But since then, not much else for New York. they're down to their last strike. Poor John Adams is going to need a vacation out there. Look, hear him?
Probably has to put ice on his wrists after the game, I would think. I wonder if he knows any other songs.
Outside ball 2. I bet it's we got the beat by the Go-Go's if I had to guess. 12-3 in the ninth.
It's got a good beat and it's easy to dance to. I'll give it an 82.
All right. Again, those of you waiting for the Cubs and Diamondbacks, they're underway out west. They are on TNT, our sister network. As soon as we're done, we'll send you out west to Chase Field. Dick Stockton and Ron Darling standing by. Game 2, Cubs D-backs. Yankees won't go quietly into this good night. Full count.
It's a good at bat by Johnny Damon, and you never know, it might come back maybe somewhere later on in this series to have a good at bat, or maybe get a run off Betancourt. You know, let them know that, you know, we're not going anywhere. It's only one game.
But still hope for New York. Each of the last 7 division series involving the Yankees was won by the team that lost the first game. Fly ball center field. It's caught. The Indians have won game 1 in convincing fashion. 12-3 was the final score for Tony Gwynn, Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, and the rest of our great crew. Chip Caray from Cleveland. Coming up next, Dick Stockton standing by in Phoenix. Game 2, Diamondbacks and the Cubs. Dick, we send it to you in the desert.